Alright guys, we're gonna start from scratch. Okay. Also a warning, there is construction happening in my roof. If you hear loud banging and if you hear a weird noise, that's usually my sea. It makes weird noises. So I'm gonna start off what my deck is and what do I use in matches. I consider this deck a little bit high cost, but if you play it right and you could read the survivors, I think you'll get a lot of fuel, a lot of energy back, and you just shed out more time by giving them so less that they get no time back. So, well, I don't use explosive. I'm only using explosive to demonstrate placement spots for Yet the Veil, and anything you could use Yet the Veil just to eat somebody and get rid of them. I do not think Yet the Veil is a good bioweapon in terms of trying to down somebody. Yet the Veil I consider is a trap card. Alex is strictly trap. Everything she's just gotcha. I got you. I found you. You just can't use Yet the Veil to fucking kill a whole squad. Impossible. You need perfect placement, great strategy to kill a whole team. It's been done many times. Credits to TDR because he has really good placement spots. Go out and watch him because he's also a very good mastermind player with Alex, and he uses Trap Alex. He uses some guns and some creatures, but he actually uses triple M9 too, and he does it right. So go ahead and watch him. So that's that. So I use Verdant. Verdant, you want them to get gooped, and you want to just down them with the constricting vine. That's what you really go for. Explosive, if you could set a certain room, you could actually set mines in certain rooms far apart, set him off, and they all explode during the radius. Alright? And then Toxic, I think, is pretty trash because it dies. It's infectious aura spread. It's just it's kind of gets to the survivors, but it just lingers for so little. You just stand there and watch it, and like, oh, it comes back quicker, and you could do something about it and try and infect them. But it's just, I'd rather just explode in their face, get it over with, or have them waste more resources to kill Yet the Veil. Pretty much. Toxic. You could do so little. If you're good at trapping things, doing it quick, I give you props because I cannot use Toxic. I think Toxic is trash. Amplify is my personal best. Amplify just beats everything. You could just use Alex with no viral equipment and just use Amplify. You could do one swipe, two swipes, and they're infected already. Epidemic is pretty okay. It's not that great because with Epidemic you could totally have one infectious zombie, and then you could just infect every other zombie near the radius of them, and their infectious aura when they die is about 4 or 5 seconds longer. I only think Epidemic really works in prison because everything's so tight knit, but you really want to use Mutation because Mutation, everyone's just so close, right? Or you could just use Amplify, get them in tight corners, and just infect them so quick. So Epidemic is just, you have to use a lot of viral canisters just to have Epidemic work. I think Epidemic worked way more previously back then because I think where you'll be able to slash him, getting the infection up, and then the zombie dies, the aura's there, you kept on going. But with Mutation now, you slash them, get them infected, somebody's infected, and somebody just used that blue herb, you're gonna affect everybody. Because then if you use viral canister too as well, it's just gonna go rampant really quick. I also use Mechanic for traps. If you're not a very trappy person, like you don't want to set them off, you want to use a creature to distract them, or use a gun, the air cannon, and then shoot them into the trap, blow them up. You could use Trap and Fishy Seed, just keep it low cost. But Mechanic's pretty good because traps get you could use EIS it also, with the mechanic, it increases the EIS activation speed, so closing doors, controlling zombies, levers are much quicker. EIS is just very good in terms of just controlling, like how a lot of Daniels, credit to Minette Crew, we're using Red Queen, all that crap to use, just to keep the momentum going with him. Like he uses Red Queen to control zombies, because if you play Daniel, you slowly control it, and then you don't have implant chip, kind of falls apart. With Red Queen and implant chip, you just get them really quick, and you get to do a quick slashes and all that. But I don't use implant chip with Alex because you don't really control much with Alex. And then Veal. So I'm just gonna be honest. Veal only works when everything's dark. And the thing with Veal is that if you shoot the trap like every other camouflage, like Detonator and Jester, you shoot them, they're exposed. And the thing that sucks about it too is, if you're a camouflage Detonator or Jester, if you slash them, bite them, they're not camouflaged anymore. So I think they should work on it, especially on PC, because on PC, let me tell you, even in a dark lit room, they could still see the trap. So Veal's trash, because you can't get trapped down quick, can't set them off, or you just have everything high cost. You just can't do much out of it. I use Virus Mine. You could use Triple Landmine if you do it right, but you get into the thing that what happens is you get Martin with Shockwave, or you got Jill, Becca. If Becca gets an ATM-4, or Jill uses her rockets, it's over. 30 seconds on them, and then yeah, have fun with that. Trying to deduct 30 seconds again. They're just gonna gain a lot, but this is more, Triple Landmine's more behind the door, or you air trap them, air burst, air cannon, goop them, and you can set that off. It's more of like pin them down, use triple like hold mine, set it off, deal the damage. But I like using Virus Mine, because with Virus Mine, when you set it off, that's 5 seconds, right, with one survivor. But when you set it off and you have Amplify, that's a free 10 seconds. That's the best thing about it. So you set it off, they're stunned. They cough, they stun. And by that time, if you put another trap down because they're coughing and they can't run, you could air cannon them, goop them, or use an air burst to pin them down again. So you could really use Virus Mine to stop them from doing anything. Then I use Efficiency Mod Infection. I think Efficiency Mod Infection's very good, especially in the gun, especially that it got the buff of dealing damage, just makes this 10 times better. If this was like a regular gun, or this was like kind of special to Alex in her own way, like you don't need to use it Area 3, just imagine using that crap in like Area 1. This would be amazing. I really wish this was an Area 2 thing. This would just change everything. But Virus Mine's also really good, I can't deny. So I use Infection Mod Infection 3 because your Virus Mine is cheap, your tough zombie is cheap, and your regular zombie. You could also use Viral Mod. In Area 1 and 2, your zombies are going to be expensive. 6 for the tough, 4 for the regular. But if you have Infection Mod, all of them will be back to like, so your tough zombie will be about 2, but it'll go up to 3. And then with your regular zombie, it's going to be 1 still, because it's just, you're just gonna have it at 1. For your Virus Mine, it's 1 as well. So I like really using it. And my equipment, I use Lucas Special, Inductor 3, EIS 2, and Modified Gear 2. All you need is 1, but just to fill up the cap of the equipment slots. You could honestly take out Modified Gear and EIS 1 to use Viral 2 and EIS 1. You're just going to be short on shooting survivors quicker, but you could set off traps fast, and you could do a lot of infection, so you could use that. If you have no Modified Gear, you have to plan out how you're going to shoot them, because you can't, so when they go towards doors, it's about like a 1 second, 2 second animation. But if you have Modified Gear, during that sequence, you could just wait. So you put the gun up, and then you could just prep up your shot. But if you don't use modified gear and they put that, they could run away. And Jill will totally dodge it. Jill will just dodge it. So you could do it this way for more infection and set off your traps pretty quick. But you're gonna have to have modified gear at all times because it just doesn't do much. Modified gear is just gonna help you in so many ways. And then you could just EIS too. For my deck, this is not my deck. I use this deck. I use Tough Infectious, Red Queen, and Regular. And the way I set it up is during the shuffle. So you're gonna have strictly creatures, then a trap and a gun, and then guns. So the way you shuffle is the way it's gonna be. Because if you put a creature and a gun on the first row, you're gonna have a chance of getting guns literally all the time. So you just want to have a chance to get at least one of everything. Because I found what I've learned is if you say back then, before the vapors, you had the darts, right? You had the enhancers. If you put them down the row, so 1, 2, 3, 4, you'll like get yourself so fucked because you get all mods in your hand. I mean, all enhancers in your hand. Even if you put it down 1, 2, 3. So if you have all enhancers in a row, you're less likely to get all of them in your hand. So just try and be careful about that. But if it works more with Vape Net now because you just 1, 2, 3. And if you start with like all of them in your hand, you could just still buff all the presetted creatures. So you're really not getting much to lose, but just be aware of that. So this is a little high cost for area 1 and 2, but the way you get it, you have the airburst trap. It's going to benefit you a lot. So when you airburst, you always have the chance of getting air cannon, immobilizing in a rifle. So, and we'll showcase using airburst trap in so many ways, and your rifle, all of that crap. And then I use quick draw. I would love to use shuffle mod, but sometimes shuffle mod, so you'll get like an airburst trap and immobilizing, but when you use a shuffle, you gotta choose either or, but you really wanna keep the flow going. And if you have a bad hand, you could still use quick draw, so you can hold it too, so that's good. And if you want to do the other way with the viral cancer and the EIS, you can take out a crawler or something, but crawlers are just so good because it shuffles through everything, and you just do so much. So you could take off Red Queen, put in viral mod, but your traps will be a little bit slower to set off. But you have EIS 1, and you kind of get it a little fast, but not incredibly fast. So you'll just have to rely on an airburst trap when it sets off, and try to keep things going. But so that's that. So yeah, so we're gonna showcase it, and we're gonna head off to downtown.
I have summoned you here for a purpose. I'm conducting a little experiment in fear and survival. You are going to assist me with my research, whether you want to or not.
So this is where things get interesting. So, first camera, it usually gets blown out, right? Whatever. You could always, what I always usually do is, I'll try to shuffle my deck So if I say I gotta, like how this goes, set this off, and I'll use cheap air cannon. So this is what you kind of usually want in the beginning, right? Because I already have presets, crap like that. So this is how it goes. So you just want to wait, and when they get to the door, you want to snipe right to it. You want to use immobilizing or air cannon. While that happens, right?
Do not trust the dead to do a bullet's job.
By the time they get up, they're gonna get air bursts, and then you want to do that, right? And then you just want to keep shooting. I know it's gonna be a lot to cost, but at the same time, you're getting energy back from the airburst trap, which will guarantee you most likely a free air cannon or an immobilizing round. Because if you get one survivor, you're at least guaranteeing yourself 3 bio energy if you pin them down in the corner with the airburst trap. And if you pin 2, you're gonna get 4 or 5, without a doubt. So that's a good thing. And then from that on, what you could also do is you could use airburst or airburst and then immobilizing round. So when they get up, you could do that. And when they're immobilized, just switch into the zombie, right?
I will hunt and destroy you.
Open it, right? And then close it. Because when a door is locked, the infectious aura does not go under the door. And that's, you want to open it, and you usually want the zombie, the AI, to try and open the door and go for them. Because when they're doing that, the infectious aura goes even further, and a lot of players usually don't walk away. And if you use more of an infectious type, so you use Amplify and Viral Canister 2, they're gonna get infected from being close to it. But if you use Amplify, they'll get like at least 3/4 through. So their gauge will fill up. And then you could just keep door cheesing and doing that. And then when they're waiting or something, you could barge in. Just make sure, Becca, if anything, if they keep doing that, lock the door again. And then hit Becca off or Jan. Just hit them off. And then lock it and just keep them pinned. You just really want to distract them and keep them off from reaching here. And then you just want to have it presetted where all the doors are locked. So you just want to lock this door double.
How do you feel?
You could also set a zombie. And then they're usually going to be distracted or trying to be prepared. And if you're quick enough, you can set an airburst trap, right? Right? So set the airburst trap here. And if they leave the door open.
The bliss of murder. The
So if they leave this door open, you could swap to camera 1 and set the airburst trap near the door. So they're gonna get pinned down to that door trying to open it. And if they're distracted with the zombies or whatever's getting there, you could also set it in this room, but you could also set it from camera 1 just to be more safe. So you don't get so screwed from getting your camera destroyed. But a lot of people are so traumatized by Spencer and Nikolai, they usually close the door behind them. But if it's like Annette, Daniel, they usually leave the door open. They don't really care.
Yes.
So
yes, this data is
that's where it gets good. So then camera 3 and 4, it's pretty good. You could set traps, you could shoot them, stuff like that. Alright. Camera 5, on the right side, it's completely garbage because all you could do is wear that little steel cage, whatever. You really can't do much. So you can set a trap here, but that's alright. So let's not use this corner.
No interesting data there.
But here's where everything becomes godlike, and all the traps, just everything gets so good.
I only put this here to give you false hope.
Alright. So, from camera 5, you can put traps near the exit.
Oh,
I accidentally put it.
just fun. I'm saving the most
So for camera 5,
scenarios for later.
where camera 6 is, when you look to the right, you really can't control creatures, shoot them, or set it off. Like, you have to like nudge it to do it. So on camera 5, you can actually put it towards that where the vending machine is. You can set off traps, you can put traps, and you can control zombies from that angle, even though that wall's still blocking. So you could set traps on 5 near the exit. You could activate everything from that one thing. Camera where the conference room is in the first area doesn't really work well because you just really can't put much out there. But it's best to use leave keys in there and have that room a little infected because you keep things going. You want everything in a tight room where infections is best. Alright. So over here, camera 9 is probably the shittiest camera. I mean, you really can't get anything out of it. And that you can't see it. Also, just to note, if you're a January player or just any regular player, from this base, they could shoot camera 10 with a handgun, a MUP, or a lightning hawk, and a Matilda. So they could shoot this off. Alright? But a lot of people usually don't know that. But the best thing you could do is, a lot of people, if you're playing Nikolai or Net, they're going to shoot this camera off. Nikolai or Spencer, they're going to shoot it off. Because they know that you're going to shoot. Alright? But the thing about this is that you could actually set traps from far away, from near the door. Right? And you could set it off. So let's go straight towards where Valerie is. And you could just set it off. And you could also put it near the door. Alright? So, that's the best thing about it. So you could have terminals 10 and 11 here for this terminal. And use camera 11 to put traps and guns and creatures. But it's a little tough because this lamp over here, when you're trying to shoot, you can shoot the lamp. So I usually go for camera terminal over here. Because you have more of a higher chance to air cannon and immobilize. So if you immobilize from this angle, you will still get them, no matter what. And if you do get the special grenade launcher, you could also shoot them off from that. And air cannon. And use any traps. So 11 is very good for guns and traps. And then for 12, it's just to keep on pressure, and if they shoot it out, whatever, right? Then you could also place up the veil here and blockade them. Constricting bind will help them from here, and it can hit them from in this corner over here. And you could also slime shot them.
That is unexpected.
Right. Camera 15's okay. You really can't do much here. It's only if they come through the door or head over there and you want to keep pressure. It's good for more guns, but it's just, there's just so much room for survivors to spread out and shoot your camera, and that Jan could also face towards the wall on this side and then tilt her camera towards the camera and destroy it. So be careful, be aware that Jan can. It's cool to have a gun here if there's no Jan, because they have to reach out and shoot it. They cannot like sneak on it unless if they go through this door, but usually they lock the door so you can't get through it. Yeah, that blows. You could use that the veil in this room. You could actually block it from entering, from trying to proceed, and you could block it over here from trying to proceed as well. So when they're done, if you get a good spawn here, right, you get the kill and you get to kill others, that's good. But if you fail at the attempt, you could also block it here and they're gonna have to wait. Alright?
I never intended you to get this.
And then I have a preset of creatures here, so either or, I could, if they kill the zombie, I could still control it and do a little dilly-dally, all that crap. And then And if so, you could actually put a trap here in the corner, you know, and then have them trying to run away. If you get this spot up, if you get York over here. So you just want to be, you want to put presets where things could get screwed over, because everything's just so shitty. And you could try to put presets of areas that are not seeable by the camera, and you can't spawn anything in corridors or areas that survivors could sneak through to hit another area. So I usually don't mind this spawn now that I could put a preset of zombies in here. So don't mind putting zombies in here. It can get blown out, but if you get creatures here, use an air cannon, lock the door again. You could apply pressure from here by putting traps and keep them a little stable. And you could put out the veil as well. So either or, they kill those zombies or they're trying to kill you. So yeah. Alright. So for terminals over here, 14. So this used to be very good for Alex. But if you get a spawn of Yorick, you could actually put you have the veil here and block it, and Yorick could not pass by. Alright, and then I usually have an infectious zombie spawn here, so when they have to get the Yorick, they have to kill that infectious zombie, and they can still get infected. So you could put like 2 zombies or whatever, keep the infection going, and put a trap and air burst behind them when they're trying to kill Yorick, and put an air burst and put the veil, so they could get stuck. And you could down them. It's best to down them than eat them, because if you eat them, yes, they have to still kill you out the veil to get the key, but if you down them, it's 15 seconds, and then you get 30 seconds on top of that. So you're trying to get more time out, and if you want somebody to use their ult, like Valerie, to use the spray, and when they try to do that, you could eat either or. And then for camera 16, I already tried showing this earlier, but apparently I didn't have my mic on. I'm so sorry. You could air cannon, air trap, put it behind over here, not too close to the door, because Jill or Martin could just Jill could run away, dodge it, and Martin could disarm it. So put the air burst a little farther away, pin them down, put an infectious zombie, or do whatever you like to stop them from doing anything, from entering that room. And if they shut that down, you could go straight to 15 and shoot whatever is here and keep them off. So that's good. So terminal 17 is not your best. Yacht the Veil can be spawned here. You really can't do much here. Terminal, so you just want to have terminal over here and a terminal here and here. So for 16, you could also, people like to stay by the door, so you can't close the door on them. So using a mobile air burst, trap, air cannon to push them off is really good, because you could lock the door, then you could place the veil over here and block them from exiting. And you could actually goop them through the desk, but you have to shoot a little upwards to hit them. So what you want to do is shoot the goop on the wall, then try to go towards them, because the wall will have like a little radius to shoot them, and you could still hit them from there. And if somebody wants to open the door, you could eat them too. So they have to be cautious of what they do. So it's best to have it here, because it's closed more tight in there, and you can spread infection well. Over here is pretty good too for a little bit of infection, because they have to from this wall over here, this little door, they kind of can't see the zombies. They can see the aura and stuff, but you could try and put pressure. So over here you have 3 cameras to defend it. So 20 and 19, you could do very well. You could also put out the veil here. I could place it right. I tried doing this earlier too already. So you could actually block this pathway from them passing. Just had it.
You to get this.
So I like that.
It's part of the test.
Right here, and they cannot pass.
Can give us. Why do you still resist me?
All right. So then for 2019, right? And then you have also camera 16 to place creatures, and you could also place traps, but you cannot set it off. So if they blow up your cameras and everything, you're fucked, right? But you can set a teleportation trap, airburst trap, high explosive to hit them off by the time your camera's recovering. Alright. So we're gonna head to area 3 now.
You will not see your death coming. There should be a pile of you by now. Heart rate and blood pressure are elevated, but
this is where things get very good. Downtown's rather okay in terms of certain builds. I think trap builds work very well in this area. Same goes with guns because you have a lot of range to shoot them, and you still can shoot them. They'll get like a speck of damage, but you could still knock off time. Creatures is probably the worst, honestly, because a lot of players would like spawn here, spawn up here, but you could snipe down here. You could snipe enemies from here, debuff them, and keep this lever, the cargo lift up. So they could shoot from here, debuff, and if they lift the cargo up, there's probably 2 people here, 1 person here, and just like a brawler here to keep the pressure going onto you. So this biocore is probably your worst. I know 3 sounds good to have cameras, but you're just gonna get blown up by a gen by standing here. So they'll blow this one up, blow this one up, blow this one up right away. So the cores that you really want is this biocore, this core, and that core. I know this core is probably the worst a lot to get because you could snipe down here, you could snipe from the bottom, you could snipe from here. But there's a lot of cameras. This area gives you a lot of free range on just keeping the pressure on the survivors and putting so many traps that you just can't bear with it. So we're gonna start with this biocore since this one's already showcased. So all you could really do is spawn zombies, shoot them, right? Yada yada. You really can't do much here. You can shoot, but you have to nudge it. But it's just so blocked. You could set traps, but it's only by right over here. Can't put it down the stairs, can't put it over there, and you can't set it off. So only over here you can, right? It's an okay angle, just to keep things going. You could use camera 32. You could put zombies down here, traps down here, shoot them. You could do all of the above here, right? Then for camera 29, you could shoot, spawn creatures, traps, but you cannot put creatures or traps near the biocore. So if there's people trying to shoot zombies from there, you could put pressure from there.
How do you feel?
Then for camera 28, you could put creatures and zombies on the stairs and over there, and you could put them on the far left over here. But this won't work for traps because you want to blow them up when they're near the core. And you could shoot them, but on the stairs or on the far left. So these are when like things get tight. So you're like getting your shit wrecked. You could also use camera 21 to spawn stuff. But if the lift is up, you cannot spawn anything for some reason. So traps, all that crap don't work. And you can't shoot because it's too high. So traps and creatures do work. Unless if the cargo lift is down. Alright. And then you could use camera 26 to spawn creatures, traps, and shoot them. Alright, so creature traps and all that. And then you could use camera 25 to spawn creatures and traps. So you have camera 25, 26, 28, 29, 32, 31, and 21. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cameras on that biocore. So you get to, if you have a trap, Alex, you get to blow them to bits. Alright? So then we're gonna go to this biocore. This biocore is notably probably the worst if you have creatures and you have straight up gun Nikolai, because they'll just destroy your cameras and they'll just shoot from a distance. Unless if you lift this cargo lift up and you spawn Nemesis right over here, so they're trapped and they can't do anything about it. So that's really the benefit, really. But you got ways to pin survivors down with traps and creatures, more with infectious creatures with Alex, because they'll get cornered. Alright, so let's start with camera 23. You could place zombies over here. So from a little far, right? So you could place creatures and then on the stairs. So this is when shit gets crazy. I wouldn't use this camera
Destroying your hope is part
to
of the
really get
test.
stuff out. So 23 for danger. You could also use 22 if I'm correct. You could use camera 22. But you can't use it over here. But you could place traps and creatures from over here. You could use 24. So you could shoot them, you could air cannon them, and use the only thing that will shoot from there is guns and air cannon. A mobilizing round would be too far. So creatures, if it wants to get over there, creatures and traps can be spawned here. You could also use this camera, of course. You could also use 26 to spawn traps and creatures. So right over here, creatures and traps right here. And you could also use camera 32. Camera 32. And camera 21. If the lift is down though. This will only be on the cargo lift. So only here. And another a good thing is you have all those cameras defended, right? Everybody wants to shoot this camera off this camera, right? And then everything here. You could also use camera 29 if they're sniping from there. Have that lift up, put a zombie down, right? Or put an airburst trap. Look at that. Look at all these creatures, huh? So, right? Air cannon them, keep them pinned down, use a teleportation trap, right? Virus mine. Use a virus mine, air burst. Right? And then you could place out the veil. By the time you put it up, you could block them from running away. You could pin them down with the slime shot. You could also eat them and all that. The only way they could only leave is if they kill him and put the cargo lift down to run away. So you want this biocore and that biocore, and then this biocore. This is probably the two worst, the middle ones. Because they could snipe it, you can't do anything about it. You could use camera 26 to shoot them, but they're not going to take any damage. And you could also put creatures, but you're also not going to put any, you're just not going to put anything. And you're just going to have to use this camera, but you just can't.
That is unexpected.
No, this it just sucks, this camera. You just can't do anything here. You're fucking useless. Like, it's even hard to put creatures because that stupid umbrella corp right here is blocking it. So you really don't want it. You just want to have this core, and you want this to be one of your first as well. Because they all have to go all the way here. So, that's cool. So let's go to this core now. With this core, it's kind of weak in some ways. So 22, you could try your best. You could like place creatures from a certain way, but you just really can't put too much. You just can't. So 23 is good. You could use camera 25. Place it using camera 25.
Unlike you, they
You could also goop them if you do it right.
Fear can blind you.
You could put creatures. You could also place out the veil here. You could actually place them in a better spot with a different camera angle. So you could place out the veil there. You could put creatures, traps, and you could shoot from there. You could also use camera 24 to place out the veil. Right? You could place out the veil here.
We've been growing something special for moments just such as these. Enjoy.
So yeah, you can place out the veil. You could also place traps and zombies. So you could also
I
place
only
traps,
put this here
and
to
you could
give
also
you
spawn it
false
right
hope.
near the biocore as well. And you could also set it off. That's good. You have a lot. So you have camera 23, 24, 25.
For this data.
And yeah. Don't think any other angle would work. Alright. So that's for the biocores. For your final exit, you have these 3 cameras, right? But they're just gonna destroy it. SWATs always destroy it. They're just gonna run up, destroy your cameras. So you have 3, right? You have camera 31. To do just no, you don't. Never mind. I take that back. Trash. You have camera 27. So you have camera 27. You have camera 26. And you have camera 25. So you can air cannon them, do all that crap.
You cannot hurt them.
You could also place
Only
traps.
Stop them. Even the perfect seed cast onto stone will never.
You also have camera 32.
And so too, my beautiful research was wasted in your pitiful blood.
So camera 32.
There's no escape for you now. Yes, this data is intriguing.
And you also have camera 24. But it's very, very pricky. Yep, right there. So more for creatures, but I really highly doubt that they're gonna shoot your camera from all the way over here. So that's that.
Destroying your hope is part of the test.
And if it's a final gate, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cameras. But this one's really useless because it's so far away. But you have all these other cameras. If they shoot all these 3, then you have 1, 2, or 3 to keep things. So you have 6 cameras to keep things going. Alright. And then say they're done with one of the biocores and it's none of them are here. It's all the way over here. You have these 3 cameras, right? So you could put pressure here with traps. You could shoot them, right? You have 3. You could also use 23, 22 if they run this way. So 22 and 23 for over here, and 23 to shoot and place traps all the way over here.
You will not see your death coming.
Oh, and I'm pretty sure you could place creatures and traps over here, by the way, from camera 23. Yeah, so yeah.
As expected, your death was underwhelming.
So that's that for downtown. Downtown's best for more guns and traps. You're not gonna get anything for creatures, really. I think in vulnerability, Anchor Spencer works a lot, but net speed running a net in downtown is probably gonna be your best.
Your families.
Alright, TDR, is everything being listened right? Hearing me correctly? Hopefully so. Awesome. If you also hear squeaking or weird fart noises, it's my chair. Sorry. Alright.
I will claim the power that is rightfully mine.
Ignore this preset. I was testing something with Daniel, but this is definitely being changed. Alright. This is where this area, a lot of things, more cameras are open. You really can't do too much cheese, but you could do a lot of cheese in the beginning area, especially for Trap Alex. So for area 1, you could place... Yo, what's up, King K's? Sup, twin? Long time no see. Alright. So, for area 1, you can place traps all the way near the exit. And if they get the cells, you could honestly, this is where you benefit more than over here, because I don't think you can set it over here, but we'll be testing that in just a sec to confirm it. So over here you can place traps, right? So they're gonna blast your camera, right, and camera 1 in the beginning, because they know that a lot of, which is all masterminds, when they usually set up there, Jan's gonna rush out, shoot your camera, or you're gonna have Jill rush and just blow everything out, right? So you always want to keep this door locked at all times. You would honestly lose the game if that door is unlocked, without a doubt. Because if that door is unlocked, they're just gonna run around and they all split up. And if you don't have anything to pressure them, especially how Alex is, you really can't push out creatures like you can with a net. So if that door is unlocked, you're just screwed. You need to stall, have time, keep pressure going. Because especially when, again, in this area is just so bad to put stuff and keep things going, especially spreading infection or gunning them down. Alright? So, with camera 2, you could put traps over here, right? You could also tilt the camera all the way over here, and you could actually put the trap down here and put it near the door. So they're gonna be like, what the fuck? Why did the camera's not even there? They're not gonna set it off. You can use camera 2 to set it off, and you could also set zombies. Trying to get another trap. Alright. So you can set it off over here.
Hope is part of the test.
So you could put it at the exit, but you won't be able to set it off. So that's why you want more of the cells. So that if you have the cells, you get a little bit of benefit, especially when somebody puts the piece down and you hear that click, you have that animation. So if you put the airburst shot, you get to pin them down. And if they're by themselves, that's even better because you could just fucking kill them. Alright. So camera 3, you already know, you could use a mobilizing round, pin them down, air cannon, shoot them off, and then go straight to 2 or 1, and then place enemies there and lock the door again. So the beginning area has to be your best play, because if you fail at this spot, you're just done, unless you have something to keep them like focused or distracted by other zombies. So for camera 3, you really just gotta keep them out. Camera 4, I'm pretty sure you cannot place any traps near camera 3.
I have a theory. Now do that again.
So yeah, you're not gonna be able to put anything there. If this door's open,
I will crush.
That's a big mistake, because that's how you always lose a game, having doors open. You always want to have doors closed, because if you have doors closed, you're just gonna lose. Yeah, well, you're not gonna lose, but you just can't do much as you can. So if this door's open and there's a person down, you can set traps here, set it off, so they don't really shoot you if they shoot your camera off. Alright.
How do you feel?
This area is okay. Make sure if they split up and they go down this way first, make sure then this door is locked because they're trying to run away and set an airburst trap behind them, and then by the time they're done with airburst, this other door is locked. So you could set up a zombie out here to keep things going. So put a zombie out here, keep infection. Just want to keep him getting infected and shut off time. And then over here, this area is okay, especially if a SWAT comes, they can go both ways. So be careful of that. So it's best to always put like a crawling zombie and then like a little trap, you know. They'll usually sense it, but put a crawling zombie trap, whatever. You could also put traps down here and creatures, even if this pillar's down here. Yeah, see? And you could do all that crap. So this area is pretty okay too. I usually have a key here because, you know, you want them to spread out and look for it rather than have all three. The only mastermind I could see putting all three keys in one room is Annette, because she just gains so much and just pressure is just always onto them. So we're gonna head off to area 2 now. And this is where area 2 is just so good.
Hide and seek is so much more exciting if the target is one of the undead, don't you think?
So we're gonna put we're gonna do the weakest terminal to the best terminal. So weakest here is gonna be 11. I like having 12 sometimes or 20, but the issue is putting traps in Yataveo and shooting is just so gimmicky and awkward. It's like, right? You can't put trap over here because the stupid door. It's good to have Yorick spawn here because they have to run all the way over here. So you really want to Yorick spawn here. But nonetheless, it's just, you only have one camera. Jan will shoot your camera out. Lockdown. You really can't do much unless if you take her off and then switch back. But by the time you do all that, they're probably gonna have the core. Yataveo's okay. Like, you could block them, right? But the thing is that the constricting bind won't hit from this computer. So that's the thing that really sucks about it. So it's best to have no terminal here. You just don't want it. Especially that if anything goes batshit crazy, they could just use this hallway and they have a safe from here. So they just could leave and just destroy things here. So I think this terminal is it's okay. It's good for a net because it's tight, and it's just more for creature base. Alright, and then for 12, it's good for a Yataveo spawn, because if you lock this door, put a trap or a zombie, they're gonna have to go this way, right? That's how usually they think. But good SWAT teams will just kill that shit down, whatever. But having a door locked and then placing a yacht here, it will grant you a good kill. It could help. And then if they try to come out in this room, you could lock this door again, take them out, stuff like that. But the downside is, if the person breaks the door, they die, a person could just like be able to, like, if there's a survivor over here, they could just run over here and pick them up because there's no camera view. So be careful about that if you have a terminal over here. But this is also another good room for creatures because it's so tight. So now over here, this terminal is okay. Honestly, it's only one camera. It's wonky because this stupid freaking thing here. Sometimes you can't even place traps. It's just so annoying. It's just good to have it over here because it's more tight. You could pin them down if you use an airburst trap, use a mobilizing round. You could also use Yataveo here and block it from them using it, so that's good. Another thing is that if you place Yataveo here and put it on a right spot, you could actually use the constricting bind through this wall. All props to TDR. He's the one that discovered it. Credit to him, alright? But that's if, like, they run away and that they're close to danger. It's good, just in case for backup, but that's alright. So we're gonna go to the middle best terminal. So 13 and 14 are very good for traps and creatures. Guns is really not gonna help unless you're in 13. Harass them, blop them off and whatever. So 13, you could put guns. You can place out the veil here and block them actually, if you place it right. So they can't pass. He's gonna die. That guy's dead. All right.
Just such as these. Enjoy.
All right. So that's that. But here's the best thing about it. You can place traps over here. And you can place it right near the terminal. And you could also set it off. So you have 2 cameras defending your terminal. You could also put it over here. But the best thing about this camera is that they have to walk around to get the camera. You could use 14, but you just don't have much free range to put traps because it's just blocked. And the only thing that could reach is it's just too far away. You have to use high explosive or a air burst. So highly suggest not using that spot. So over here is your best, and then over here is where everything gets so good. You want to use this area, this terminal. I used to freaking hate this one, but after more practice, I love it because you could air cannon them, you could shoot them, right? You could also set creatures. Traps don't work on this spot, sadly. You just can't. Also TDR, I also figure out you can't immobilize them because there's an invisible wall. I thought you can, but rifle or air cannon, anything, because their hand shows, and you get the little boop, hit them off. Over here, you can do whatever. You cannot spawn yacht, just letting you know. You can, but it's super hard, and yeah, you can place it here, but I don't suggest that. So if they take this, they're gonna take out this camera. Just think of all the situations as SWATs. They're gonna take this camera down and this one. But you could use grenade launcher here. You could use an airburst trap over here. Put it in the terminal. Blow them off. You can place a zombie here.
You cannot hurt them. Only stop them.
Traps, all that crap, right? And you could use air cannon and a mobilizing round, but I'm not sure if the mobilizing round works. I'm gonna have to test that out too. So we're gonna use Sir Yorick to open the door.
The bliss of murder, the relief, the soaring ecstasy.
Air cannon, yep.
Shedding another's blood.
So we're gonna showcase another thing. This probably happens most of the time. They usually leave this door open. So if there's like a Nikolai player, Spencer, they're not gonna have, they're whatever, this door is gonna be open because there's no creatures crawling out and you just can't do anything, right? So what you could do is, from camera 11, you could shoot them. You could use air cannon and air cannon and any other guns except anything that reaches from that distance. You could not place any enemies, sadly. So we're gonna use York again to put Sir Tyrone over there.
And hearts for the same purpose.
And you're gonna see what you could do. He's probably gonna die, so
I only put this here to give you false hope.
Well, there she goes. He goes. But you could shoot them from here. You could do all that, air cannon, shoot them off from camera 11. Alright, so you have 4 cameras defending this terminal. And if you have defense, Spencer, this is a nightmare for them. Also a nightmare for them here. You could also use terminal here for defense, Spencer, if you have like cooling fans or such things like that. And if a January is not using lockdown. Because if they use instant, you're still probably going to get it back in time. Unless if they're using USB. So,
I have learned almost
be aware. So yeah, these are the best terminals to have. Because they have to walk over here to walk all the way over here or go all the way over here. If they go for this one first, they're going to obviously go here first or there. but you still have time to prep, and you'll probably get 2 bioenergy with no mod reactor, such things like that. So that's that. These are more best for terminals, because a lot of masterminds fail in area 2 when they don't defend their terminal. If you do not take them off that terminal and they get that, you're just taking a loss at that point, because by the time they get to area 3, they got all the terminals. You didn't waste their resources or time. Area 3 is going to be a hell for you. So we're going to head to area 3, and this is where every mastermind probably wants to blow their brains out, because I could understand, because you just don't have anything to keep up the pressure. But we're going to showcase here that you can with creatures and traps. Sadly, guns just don't work. So if you are using a gun like Nikolai or Spencer, you're best gonna lose this. Like, it's near impossible for this area to win. You have to win area 2 or area 1, because it's just January could reach so far. If you have a good Jan and they have you like high caliber and 2 EMP rounds, and they have a MUP. I know MUP is like a forbidden weapon to use in area 3, but if you're just straight up gun Nikolai, they could snipe your camera with the MUP. So be aware of that. So a terminal that
no interesting data there.
Terminals that you do not want. You do not want 25 or 22. Not 22. 22 is actually really good. So you just really don't want this one. This one's just awful, because you have a chance of getting a spawn over here. And if you get a spawn over here, I have no problem with the mastermind rage quitting, because it's just like, by the time that thing's destroyed, you don't have any time to prep in that room. You're just screwed. Because I think that pisses everyone off when they get that. Especially that if they, because you just want the spawns to be far apart and have the lever lift up and down. Alright? The best spawns in the beginning is that to have it in this room, or have it one over here. This one is just awful because you can't support it. Supporting it for many other cameras is just downright terrible, because there's things when different cameras it's blocking you. You're just screwed. I probably rage at this point, because you just can't. You have a couple cameras, right? But it's just using this camera, can't reach it. Jan destroys it. Sometimes having 2 cameras is great at sometimes, but it's just January or a team will destroy camera 25 and Jan will destroy 24 and 31. Like that. Snap. You need to have a camera that's far away that you can still spawn stuff. So we're gonna start from 22. This is probably everybody's least favorite, but I will say it's actually really good, because so what you could do is, so when this thing is lifted up and there is, say, Tyrone or a Sam, right? I'm gonna lift it up. Alright, so this is what we're gonna do. We gotta get a trap. Alright, so you can set traps here and yada yada. You only have one view, right? You're just like, fuck, they lifted it, they're gonna snipe. You can use 29 to also shoot them from here, or put the lift down again. That's what usually happens. So if they're using that, you could also use 24. 24 for traps. So 29 to shoot them off, immobilize them, air cannon, things such like that. Alright? And then you could also use 24, and I'm pretty sure you could also use 30. You could use 30 to keep them away. They have to go downstairs, right? You want them downstairs, because when you want to lift it back up, they're going to have to wait a couple seconds for that thing to come down. So you have cameras for the top to keep pressure on top of them, so they cannot snipe. Have them scatter. You want them to scatter. There is one thing I have to note, is if you have invulnerability anchor Spencer, that is probably your worst spawn, and your enemies are going to get crushed. Because in camera 26, Jan or any other survivor could shoot that camera off over here. It's gonna get shot, and Jan can also do whatever. So if you see something happening, something fishy happening, and you're just like, fuck, they destroyed my camera, you could swap here and kill Jan, because sometimes they usually stay by themselves. And if they shoot this one off, you have this camera to also kill Jan. And you could take the kill, dwindle down time. If they get that core, it's not great, but you're shutting off time by killing Jan over here. So, here's another good thing. For camera 21, you could also set traps here near the biocore, and you could also set it off. So, they have to be aware, and you cannot shoot through here. Oh shit. So yes, you could shoot through there and such things like that. So 22 is probably one of the best spawns you want to have, since you can apply pressure from 24, 22, 29, 21, and 23 and 30. So you have all those cameras. You always want cameras to support other cameras to defend your objectives from anything. You just don't want them to destroy you. Alright, so we're gonna go to camera 29 for your term by your core. Alright, you always want to have it down so they don't leave. Alright, so
of the virus. How do you feel?
you of course can place traps, zombies, all sort of things, but you already know what's gonna happen, because what every mastermind suffers is them destroying that camera, Jan locking it down, and you're useless. A lot of masterminds don't know what to do, and they give up. But don't give up there, because you have a lot of other cameras to defend this core. But I advise, guns do not work. Just guns do not work in this map. So you could use camera 24. Set traps, set them off. Alright? Control zombies, all of that crap. You could also spawn zombies, and you could also spawn Yatta Veil from here. Alright? You just want to keep pressure. So, that's a good thing. So, you have camera 24 and 29. You also have camera 30. But the thing about this 30, it's actually not. Alright. So you just can't, you have to like nudge it a little bit, but you can place zombies, you can place out the veil.
See what science can give us. Why do you still resist me?
And like I said, you can't shoot.
This was nice.
So yeah.
Yes, this data is intriguing.
So you got great ways to benefit yourself and keep things going. And if you use that airburst trap, place out the veil and a virus mine, they're gonna be coughing, they're gonna catch them. I mean, granted, that's good in theory, but sometimes you get your shit wrecked by teams. Without a doubt. We just know that smart teams will find their way to destroy you. The only way they could destroy these cameras is Jan destroy one of these cameras from a far range, no matter what. But she can only do one camera. So if she's trying to destroy this camera, and if she uses instant, that's a whole minute that she has to recharge. So you could come back to this, and they're gonna be all like, shit, what do I gotta do? So you have camera 29, 30, 24 to defend this one. Then for 30, this one's okay. This biocore can be a little iffy, so you could use 24. But the thing about 24 is you can only do it right near the biocore and right near the cargo lift. You cannot do it over here because this stupid pillar is just blocking it. So this camera's okay. It's not going to be your best. Sad to say, not gonna gain you anything. You could use 29 to put anything over here. So you could put traps, all of that crap.
Aren't our eyes made to be torn out? And hearts for the same purpose?
So yeah, I also believe Daniel would also work in this map, because yes, the pressure for him is pretty awful in this map because it's more open as well, but if you just have more cameras to place zombies, especially if you have equilibrium mod or caltrops, you can spawn it over here and control zombies because you just have more free range. So over here, the terminal is okay, but the best terminals you really want to have is 22, 28, and 29, because you just have all the support from most of these cameras. Especially if you're, say, another mastermind, Nemesis or Mr. X, they want to run away. You could also preset zombies here and keep this area protected. So that really goes for a research facility. I hope you guys like the idea of where I'm going, So that's good for research facility. There's a bunch of benefit you could do. Alright, I'll be right back, guys.
But one day you may awaken to find it.
Alright, I'm right back. So, Casino is your best map. Casino, Area 2 is just godlike. You are just gonna have so much benefits on literally destroying survivors. Let me put a gun here so I could actually demonstrate stuff. So I have traps and whatnot. Alright. Area 1's amazing. Area 1 and 2, and then Area 3 could get a little iffy, but you have a lot of sneaky cameras to keep things going. Area 3 is really good too, if you get the proper response. Alright. We have to say, one of the best cameras I really enjoy is camera 1. A lot of people do not use camera 1. A lot of people use camera 1 just to shoot people here and shoot people there, right? Cool. But the best thing about camera 1 is... Sorry, I'm just eating. Got dry. Alright. Camera 1. You have the whole entire map to yourself with this camera. The only thing you really can do is place traps here and over near the door. But this is great when camera 4 gets shut down and camera 3 gets shut down. I think camera 2 is probably... Like, camera 2 is great, but a lot of jam players destroy this camera or malware this one. They usually malware 3 or 4 in the beginning, but 2 could get a little, kind of gets hit a lot. So you can place traps here, and you can air cannon them and all that. But a lot do not suspect camera 1, because with camera 1, you can place traps around here. So you can place traps here, and you could also set them off real quick. So if this is malware, you could still set things off and control things, and you can still place bioweapons without having your camera destroyed. Alright, so with camera 1, Let's put some traps down, get a gun. Alright. So camera 1, you can air cannon through this wall, this little game, arcade machine. You can air cannon them, you can shoot them, and a lot do not suspect it happening. You could also shoot from here, you can immobilize, you could all that. So when they shoot 4, just go straight to 1 because you could still apply pressure. And the best thing about it is that you can set traps here, you can place controls on creatures here. Sadly not over here. But this is when 4 gets down and then you're just like, oh man, I gotta keep going. Because sometimes all 4 is usually not together. There's one a little behind. So put little traps here, so whatnot. So another good thing is if they shoot 1 off or 4, you could use 2. And with 2, you could place bombs here and put little creatures. You know, set it off. So you have 2 to put little creatures, set things off. Sadly, you can't put much over here. You can put traps here and make them not see it when they're running. And you could also place traps over here. But only thing I'm pretty sure that doesn't reach is machine guns and mobilized round. I think air cannon does work. So you want to defend this door a lot too. This door, you don't want them to get the key a lot. Alright? So I want to set the airburst trap when they're in that animation. So what I usually do is I set up my cameras. So when the match starts, I'll put my camera towards here. I have it near over here, preset it over here. I'll set it up here. I'll put the camera over here. Because they're all shopping. So you have like 15 seconds. The only thing that will get a little destroyed is when a speed drill happens. But you could always make it work. So you put it over here. So you always, when they turn off the light, you have this camera to turn it off or over here. You could also prep. Then if they're over there, you could set the camera, just shoot them right away. Alright? So you want to set up your cameras on the right angles you need to gain everything that you want. You want to dwindle so much time. So this room, it's okay in terms of like trying to have creatures and such. Like, I think this is very good for Daniel, or like Nikolai. They showed this camera, but Jan will be right on this camera. So they'll shoot this one off, shoot that one off, shoot 3 off all the time. So be aware. Sometimes you can set the key here, but sometimes it's best to set here because they usually try to walk over here and try to grab the key, because you could put a little trap there and blow them out. So what I always want to do is have an air burst, a mobilizing round. If I get one of them, I'll just switch this creature and then infect them, run back in here and close the door. And if they do manage to get out the goop, get in there and grab them, just get off the creature and lock the door, and then just keep putting pressure onto that one person, dwindle down time. Let them walk around. If they see the person die, they're trying to come back, and then one will be left behind trying to get the keys, and then you go straight to them. Alright? So this area, the beginning area, is great for guns and traps. Creatures, not so much, because you have the force field. The door, man, if the door was still there, creatures will be so much better, because you could use detonators like I used to, or liquors to just barge in. But creatures in this area just suck, unless if they're just running back from this area, because they have to run through this hallway. But that's it. So we're gonna head to this area. There's only 2 cameras. I really wish there was a 3rd one, but it's whatever. So for camera, you could also put traps around here, such and whatnot. You already get it. You could put traps, guns, creatures. But for 8, this is where the specialty comes. You could put traps here. You could put traps in the door. Chew. You could put traps here. You could also set them off, I believe. So you can set them off. You could use air cannon. You could use a mobilizing round. So yeah, camera 8's really good. Oh, sorry, I had to drink again. My mouth was getting dry. So this area is actually also good too, because you could spawn everything properly, right? No issues putting zombies, traps, guns. So if you're a gun mastermind, it's always best to. I really don't suggest it, but if you're a new player and you have to use a turret because that's all you have in your deck as a beginner, using a turret on camera 10 is really good because when they barge in, they get shot from here, and then you could swap over here, or you could swap back to 8 and make them push in, and then lock the door and keep them down.
Could be a variable in the efficacy of the virus. How do you feel?
Camera 9 and 10, great. So the best thing about this room is a lot of them like to stand near the door, right? So if you use air cannon, air burst, it's all cool, right? Push them in, right? Keep that door open. You could set traps near where that key is. So if they want to try and get out, if you put like an air burst or have a zombie that get bit by it, because you could use any of the bombs, pin them down in that corner, and just get bioenergy from your trap. So camera 8 is when your 2 of these cameras are down and you can't do anything and this door is open. If this is closed, you really can't do anything about it. You just can't. So if they're all like getting blown up and such, Jan's probably gonna run out, lock the door again, get on that camera. She's gonna have to do that, push her off. There's just so many things you could do just to keep them off from getting things. So we're gonna head to area 2 now. This is where area 2 is just godlike. Area 2 is so good.
I'm saving our most interesting scenarios for later.
Alright.
Initiating the next test phase.
So this terminal is your best terminal because you have 4 cameras defending it. With camera 11, because you can set traps off, airburst and high explosive only. Alright, I'm pretty sure virus mine could also reach should be able to reach, but we could test that out by pushing Valerie over here. So you have camera 11 if they shoot 12 and 13, and if they shoot 11 you also have 20. With 20,
interesting. I have a theory.
You could place
now
traps.
Do that again.
And you could still set it off. So we're gonna try to get a zombie, and we're gonna push Miss Valerie.
The bliss of murder.
And we're gonna put it near the terminal. And we're gonna test if the air cannon works. I'm pretty sure it does. Norman.
As expected, your death was underwhelming. The others will be more interesting.
Alright. Oops. So yes, if you hit that wall, you air cannon them off. I'm not sure if immobilizing works, but yeah. So you can air cannon them, air burst, and tracker mine. So tracker mine, air burst, and high explosive all work from this spot. And yes. So 12.
Destroying your hole
This spot gets a little wonky, but if you're good at aiming, you could use immobilizing, all that. You just gotta hit the tip of the head. So.
And so too my beautiful research was wasted in your
Yes.
pitiful blood.
And then for camera 15 and 16, this part, I highly suggest not having the terminal in here unless if you have a creature based with tough zombies and such, and like vulnerability Spencer, because it's just more tougher and you could apply a lot of pressure on them. But if you're using guns, they're just gonna blow out your camera. Jen's gonna lock 18 down, leave the door open, shoot camera 17. They'll be on point, unless they're being in a dumb Jan and it's a melee Jan, which you always want, right? To have that win. So for 17, 15, 16, 17, the thing about this, we'll be showing you. So
with this strength, your fate is sealed. Thank you for this data. Disappointment could be a variable in the efficacy of the virus. How do you feel?
alright. So from here, should be able to reach if you're using air burst, but I'm not 100% sure. So if they shoot your camera off, you should be able to set it far away. You see? So you could use high explosive. And then we're gonna test out the air burst. I'm pretty sure it also works. Not bad. So yeah, it's not gonna really reach. So the only thing that really works is high explosive. Oh. Well, I guess if you preset a bomb here and then another bomb over there, you can. I thought it did. I'm sorry about that, guys. So 15 and 16 is pretty good, only because you have two cameras. You can put stuff on them and yada yada. Yata Veil is also a good spawn here because you actually can block it. So you can actually block it if you put it right. So they won't be able to walk away from it. And if anything, they'll like to dilly-dally and walk away, run away. You just have to hit the wall and they'll get gooped from any side. And they have to be careful. And it's always best to down them rather than eat them, because nobody can't touch them. They're just gonna have to wait. And the person holding the key, so they're just gonna waste about 10 seconds having to just see the person die, and then at 30 seconds dying. And they have to grab the key on top of that. So through that whole minute, you want to waste the whole minute with the veil. And if they kill it, it's whatsoever. Try to just self-destruct as fast as you can. And if you have Becca, you could also goop. So they usually like to be like on this corner over here. You could use constricting bind to hit her off.
I am disappointed if that is unexpected.
And then you could also, if you use the left side, you could also try and goop her from the corner. So you always can try your best. And if Becca's over here trying to shoot her, you could always get off of the veil, air cannon them. Alright? So she'll fly, so hit them in the back so they can fly forward. Just go straight into the veil, slime her, and kill her off. Like, I would just try to eat her. The best thing you could do is eat her. Or you could use airburst trap, because they're just more of a, they're just like backing away, flying, getting stunned. So or you could use a virus mine, airburst, place a zombie, bite them, shit time like that way. So yes, this area is pretty good. So, and then over here, it's also good. You could use 2 terminals here, because you could use all 4 in either kind of way. Because you could place traps. And set them off. Because they'll be right near the terminal. But I like to have it in here because you could also place the veil. You can place the veil in here and trap them. But a good thing I usually do is, you always want to have the light off, have a zombie, right?
I never intended you to get this. It's part of the test.
Just try and get a zombie. Whatever. Alright, so you always want to have the airburst trap on the corner, because they're gonna have to, they really can't see it, like the corner over here in room 19. Like how you place the trap over here, they really can't see it, and they have to walk in and try and shoot it. But if you're instant trap Alex, you just blow them up and affect them. Martin can use shockwave and destroy it, but I usually do not set more than 1 trap in a room at any time. Like, you must be crazy putting like 20 traps in there and then get shockwave. I'll probably just rage quit at that point. They got like 2 minutes out of the trap, and they have like 4 minutes on the clock. So it's just, you always want to have 1 trap in your deck that benefits you, or 2 traps, because by the second area you have this additional trap, and then you're just gonna keep, it'll keep cycling through, and you're gonna keep getting other traps, and you just want to have creatures, guns to keep pushing them off. So 2 traps, 3 traps is always good. Having more than, having 3 traps in your deck is probably the worst. If you could do traps right, you must be very good. So what I'll usually do over here is, I usually put an airburst trap. I air cannon them, immobilize them, or if they're distracted with the trap, they're trying to open the door, airburst them, and then you could put the veil here. And it's not a hard spot to place either. So you could trap them, you could shoot the wall, reel them in, eat them, kill them off. You could do all that, and they cannot run away from this angle at all. So this is a good way to keep them off. They will kill it probably if they have a good team, but you're just gonna waste a lot of time. And if they're going to kill it, just self-destruct and take a little damage off of them.
I barely learned anything.
Alright, so when everything's all done, all terminals are done, you really want to try and like get them off. So the only cameras you really could use is 20, 11, and 13. So with 11, when they shoot 20 off, you're just like, great. You could place traps here, near the exit, you could air cannon them and shoot them. And then with 13,
Quite unprecedented.
you could just set certain things. So we're just gonna head off to area 3 now. And here's where things get very interesting, because a lot of people really want spawns for 26, 25, and 24. But if you're like a gun mastermind and you're trying to apply pressure, 26 and 25 is actually pretty awful of a camera, because Jan, they're just so close, and Jan just has, like, if she has a shotgun, they'll just be blown out, and she could just, if she uses instant, that other camera's going to be down, and she's going to keep applying pressure onto the same camera you're trying to put on. Or if she uses lockdown and have one other person keep shooting the camera, your biocore is done. And the other reason why biocore kind of sucks is because you have this back alley, and it's always best to set like creatures in a preset over here. But the only reason this biocore, I believe this biocore is only good if you have a net or invulnerability anchor Spencer, because the anchor goes away when they get out this room. That's it. When they get out this room or that room. And if you use 26 to use the anchor, they have to leave the room. And try kind of get it without a Jan, and there's Ives in there. So you're like, somebody really has to sacrifice themselves just to get this camera off. But after that happens, and if they put a lot of stuff into these cameras, they'll just take all the creatures out, stuff like that. You just can't do much, in my opinion. I really like biocore 28, 29, 24, and sadly 31, because yes, it kind of sucks, but you could put a lot of more things in here than 26 and 25, because it's more open. Like, they could just leave if shit goes crazy. They could leave out here in an open area, go somewhere else, or they could just leave in the back and just shoot zombies from here. And if it's Mr. X or Nemesis, good luck, because they're gonna shoot it down or run away. The only thing that could really benefit is William. Yet the Veil sucks here too, because you cannot place Yet the Veil at all. Only here, but the constricting bind doesn't reach, and you'll usually miss your slime shot. You can place it here too, but it's also very straight. Even though, look how open it is, you just can't place it, which just sucks. So we're gonna start with the weakest biocore. 22-25, already mentioned how it goes, but this is one of the biocores you want to have spawn first. So 28-29 is really good, but we're just gonna start for the weakest. So 24 over here with this biocore, it's really good because spreading infection is so good with any mastermind. Nikolai will air cannon you out, and if they're getting pressure, they'll try to. Jan will probably instant this one, lock down it, but while in that animation, you could shoot her off here. Guns usually work in this spot pretty well. Creatures work very well because this area is super small. Ivies are really good. The only person that could really destroy everything is you have Surplus Valerie, ATM Becca, or In the Zone, or Rocket Jill. But if you're using Tough Zombie and that, or Vulnerability Anchors, they're just gonna get crushed because there's just so much. And then if they come out, if they open this door, try to destroy everything, you can just spawn right behind them, and everything. And if anything goes wrong, you could use 22 to also spawn creatures. So creature-based area is really good. And infection, you're just gonna get a lot of this one. This one not so much unless you use creatures. So with 24 and 23, a good Yethaveo kill would be placing a air burst trap. Have them try to open the door. It's best if you could get it to level 2 or level 3, so that way they don't have to keep pushing on the door. And if they shoot this camera off, that is okay, because you could use the landmine or anything like that here. So what you want to do is put an airburst trap, and then you want to place out the veil here, because they can't walk past it, and you have a free kill at that point. And then nobody could save her because the veil's there. And if they use Valerie and heal her, what's the big deal? Because you're gonna just eat Jill now. Jill, whatever. So they're dead, and they have to kill Yacht to get to that biocore. And if anything, the best thing about it is if you have a high explosive air burst, air cannon, you could just bump them right out, lock the door again, and keep pressure here. So this core, this over here, you have support with 2 cameras, and then if anything goes wrong, you also have 22. So you just spawn zombies, shoot them, and keep things going. So I really like this core. It's one of my favorites. I used to hate it, but I hate this core the most for Alex. So another thing about this core, you could defend this area for a bit because you could use 27 to place traps here. You could place creatures. You can also shoot. You can air cannon them. Alright? Grenade launchers, stuff like that. Like, get them off that door. You can place traps. Set things off. So you could do some stuff there, but once they get in that room, it's kind of over. So I like this core over here. Yes, it's only 1, but the thing is that you could set up stuff. So if it's creatures, this room's really good. Having zombies over here and over there, they're gonna just be too much. They're gonna get loose. And then presetting enemies over here is really good. And if there's no enemies in your preset, you could just spawn enemies from 27, control it, and put it on over here by the time they try to get to that core. So it's putting 3 zombies here and then put more zombies here. It's gonna keep things going. And then if you're using Alex, virus mine, all that, you could place over here because they usually don't notice if you put a crawling zombie. But SWATs will usually shoot them off, such and things like that. But sometimes they usually don't go back here, a lot of SWATs, unless you have Jan. But if you preset it here and there's zombies, they're just gonna have to get busy with it. And that when you lock this door, she's gonna be busy. And then you could just air cannon, air burst, same thing. You could just push them off, lock the door, and then you could put a virus mine. One person has to break the door, no matter what. If you have Master Key Jill, she's gonna be the lucky one. Master Key Jill will not get shot like that, and that she could dodge shots and not get hit. So if you're using Valerie, Jan, Sam, Martin, they're just gonna have trouble opening that door, and they're just gonna get blown up. So Tyrone and Jill are the best ones to open doors. And then you could just press over here. You could also put Yet the Veil here and block them from exiting. So yes, you just want to use it as a stalling, but you could also group them from here. If you put the Yet the Veil right. But you could use the constricting vine, stuff like that. They just can't leave this spot, and if so, you just leave them. They're trying to kill it. You know, just put zombies, traps, airburst trap, and air cannon is going to be benefiting because you can burst them out, goop them, and eat them.
That is unexpected.
So it's a good Yet the Veil placement. A lot of Alex plays would usually put Yet the Veil over here, but you're really not going to get much because whoever's back here is going to run away. That person's gonna die, but they'll just be right. They can actually shoot from this angle, so you kind of want to have all the survivors over there and whatnot, so they don't shoot it from here. Magnum, Matilda will destroy this core, so be aware of that. Then the best core you want is this one. For the reason being, you have 29, right? You can place traps. You have the Veil. Could also block them from getting them anywhere. So you want to face it this way. Have the bulbs facing them. So you could pull them. Make sure like 2. You don't want to have 1 survivor there because if you have all other 3 up there, they're gonna destroy it and run away. So make sure you get like a good group of them there, and then eat them up. But here's the best part. 29, yes, you can put traps, all these sort of stuff. But here's the best part. 28,
only put this here to give you false hope.
You could put traps through this wall. And creatures. And you can set it off. So if they destroy that camera, you're just like, whatever. But putting air bursts, So you have the veil there and like, oh shit, just blow them up, do all that damage, arrow, yeah, because they're gonna destroy it if you place it. So just go to 28, use an air burst or high explosive and make them fly all the way to the veil.
That is not what I
And then you also
expected.
just want to preset a zombie here to keep infection. This hallway kind of sucks if they go through here, but this is the best reason why 28 is so good, because you could just keep on putting traps here. So yeah. Also for 21 you could put if they come over here, you could place traps and creatures, and you could also set it off near the door. Boom. So that's good. And then for 22 you could also do the same. Just camera. So 22, you could put traps here if they shoot that camera off. And then you could also place the veil here. So when there's a final exit happening, you could also place the veil to block them from getting through.
We've been growing something
And the best thing about this
special for
plot,
moments just such as
yes,
these.
they're probably
Enjoy.
gonna kill it or something, but the thing is that you could actually use Constricting Vine and hit them through this wall. And you can hit them to the safe box. You see? You probably don't see it, but you see that little tip over there? So aim it up. And you just want to stop them from buying stuff. So you could use Constricting Vine, and you could also goop them from a good distance. So if you just tilt it a little bit, you will get them, you see? You could get them and kill them. So having a Verdant, the veil there, having them waste resources, and if they're so busy with whatever, and then sometimes it's best to leave the veil because they'll try to run it, and then you could just eat them. And then this is where the final exit. This is another good spot, but when it comes to guns, it's just kind of iffy because this camera can't shoot them. Like they usually have a turret here, so if they run this one there and they'll spawn this one like a regular gun, like an air cannon. But here's the best thing about traps, and I think creatures as well. So with camera 33, from the stairs down, see that? You could put traps all the way to the hallway, and you can set it off. Alright?
Fear can blind you.
I do not believe creatures are accessible from a further distance. So traps, yes. Creatures a little too far. So if you pull out the veil, and you pull out the veil here, and they're like, great, I can't kill it. You have, so they're gonna have to kill it, right? But using high explosive, virus mine, teleportation trap is gonna screw them over, because you could just screw them over. Right? And that's where the trap is. So they're gonna like be behind there, and they're gonna trying to like stay away from the veil. Look at that.
And destroy you.
That's amazing. You really want that to happen. You really just don't want them to just kill Yat and get it over with. But if you just put all that there, put creatures, they're gonna have to run away. So good placement spots is here and 27 to block it off. So you always want that. And if they see creatures getting spawned here, such things like that, you could also spawn creatures here if they really want to run away. So spawn it like on the corner so they don't really see it, and they could just come over. And if it's a net, that's really good, because they get so bombarded over here. But you put lickers here, they'll aggro no matter what if when they hear them, because they're in this corner. So this is Casino. Casino is one of the best maps for terminals. I think it's just Area 1, Area 2, and Area 3 are perfect, except for certain areas. This area is good for guns, it's good for traps and creatures, so there's really no disadvantage to masterminds as much. where survivors have to be very careful where camera placements are, because if they fuck up, especially with Nikolai, you'll just get sniped from 27, you'll get sniped from 22, you'll get sniped from 30 if they leave this door open, 21 if they're from here. They gotta be very careful. So it's very dangerous, this map, and a lot of people usually mess up a lot. So hope everyone enjoyed this one. It's one of my favorite maps too. The music is just so good. Alright, so we're gonna go to next is prison.
Is that how you survived?
Or amusement park. Also, everyone hears me, right? Everyone can hear me clearly, okay? Just keep me informed, because I really don't want to give tips and nobody's listening. Hope everybody's enjoying my stream as well. Thank you for anyone that is following. Thank you, Aliukar, for the host as previously. So, alright. Still good? Awesome. Alright. So, I'm gonna get off right off the bat. The right side of this map is awful for traps. Horrible. Because it's very open. You really can't do anything sneaky. There's no cheats. It's everything you see is what you can do. The only thing for camera 4 is you could place traps over this wall. That's it. You can't put traps over here. Just can't. You could pull it near this door frame, but that's it. But I do have a key. A zombie and a key in here, so if they usually one of them goes by themselves or a whole team, at least they get a little infected. Put a little trap here, you know, lockdown trap. It's good here just to have this room small and just infectious. But the best side of this map is the left side. The left side is where everything everything is so good, because you have so many cameras supporting other rooms, and you just can continue infection. You can continue damaging. Guns, traps, and creatures are very good on the left side, I believe. So, camera 1 is also your best camera for certain things. So, if you have a camera over here, if they have this door open,
they will tear the flesh. Aren't our eyes made to be torn out, and hearts for the same purpose?
Right? You could put a trap here. Right? Swap up, airburst them, get them pinned down, immobilize, put a creature. You could also put a creature here on a preset to keep infection going, so you could do that. So if they have this door open, you also have a benefit of air canning them. Air canning, immobilizing, airburst, and high explosive, and a landmine, tracker mine, all that crap. But here's the best thing: you could also put traps over here. So if you have a key over here, you could put a trap all over there, and they're gonna get hit hard, because you could also air cannon them if you get it right. Let's see if I get one. So you should be able to air cannon them. Air burst is really good. Pin them down. Then you could go straight to camera 9 and just hit them hard. So go to 9. Oh yeah, look at that. They're just gonna get blown off. Somebody's picking up items. You're gonna get them good. And then earlier to mention, TDR said a turret will work on camera 9 to hit them over here. Camera 9 is very good because the stairs is always your best friend as a mastermind. As stairs, zombies have a quick bite animation. They'll actually put the survivor down, grab them, put them down on the floor, and they'll bite immediately. It's not like where a standard bite, they have like a 2-second duration for the bite where they lunge and then put their mouth up and bite. And then the survivor could actually take them off real quick. Especially with Sam's punch, Tyrone's kick. You want something to get them quick. So what you could do here, you always want to have this door locked. Alright? So say there's a January or somebody taking this camera off. That's okay, because you have camera 8 and 7 to just, you know, brush them off, kick them off here. Because when they take out that camera and you're brushing them off real quick, you can put a trap here, air burst trap, swap up to your camera 9, keep shaking your controller, mouse, and turn that camera on. It's gonna have a shield for about 7 seconds or so. Put it back up and they're gonna have to wait, or they're gonna have to rush. And then you could put so immobilizing, air burst, air can. You already know, you get the gist. Have this door locked. Set a trap over here, put a zombie over here, because you want to air cannon them. When they have that animation where they're like locked, right? They have invincible frames. And when that animation, you want to have modified gear, because if you can air cannon them, blast them down, right? Have infection, have an infectious zombie. That zombie's gonna aggro, put them down, and that survivor's gonna have to be quick about it. And if that survivor's not quick about it, and that person gets bit, right? You can put a trap again. Put a trap on the stairs. Air cannon, high explosive, blow them up. You want to pin them down. This spot is so good. Especially that you have camera 10 to immobilize them. You know already what I'm going to say. You can just brush them off. Kept them out. Keep locking the door. Especially with Spencer. Spencer with door bolt. And then you have advanced processor. You could lock these doors in like 6 seconds. You could just air cannon them, air goop, keep them off, and it's just gonna frustrate them. This room's also really good for infection. Having an infectious zombie in front of behind this door, you just want to keep infection. Like air cannon, infectious zombie, blow them up, and then you're gonna have like another zombie here that they have to come through, get infected, blow them up. The only thing that sucks about this room is this stupid desk and this door just connect to each other in a way of like a little window, so you can only put a trap down here. So you need to be a little precise about it and don't fuck it up. So you could just blow that up and, you know, create a chain. So you just want to do that. Have this door locked too at all times. You just want these doors locked at all times. And then I preset zombies here because a zombie, you always want a zombie on the stairs. Because when they open that door, that zombie's either going to aggro, even without fresh blood. They'll probably scratch them. But you have Alex with Amplify, and whatever playstyle you have, if you have Viral Canister, they're going to be infected. So they kill that zombie, right? But usually they'll try to run, and they don't see that trap because you have it on the stairs. A lot of the time with the camera angles for survivors, you really have to look all the way down to see the trap. Because if you put the trap on the stairs, but if you put it almost between the stairs, the trap kind of gets hidden. So they get hit by that leg hold trap. And I only use leg hold traps on presets where they can't see it, because leg hold traps on a regular deck is probably your worst nightmare. You only take 5 seconds off. You get no bioenergy from the energy leech trap. And if a zombie swipes them, if you use immobilizing air trap, they're just gonna get off, and you're only gonna take like 8 seconds off. So it's only good for when you have a zombie, because they get to grab them and you get to have a gun. That's it. So Lego traps are trash, but good on presets.
I never intended you to get this.
So
it's part of the test.
This is where this area gets really good, because you have camera 9. You could set traps around over here. Sadly, you can't put it over there or all the way over there, but over here, if they shoot camera 12 and 11. So if they shoot 12 and 11, you're just gonna be like, ugh, whatever. Put like a little trap, and since you have a mechanic and inductor, you get to put it quick and just blow them off, right? And when these cameras are probably damaged, you're gonna get them back online, so they don't, you know, keep leaving. You don't want to be useless this whole time. So best thing about this too is that when these zombies are there, you get to put traps in these stairs. You get to put air can, all this stuff. Blow them out. Blow them out. Lock the door. Go to camera 10. Put a zombie. Put a bomb. It's just push them out. This spot is so evil. This corner, you get to just push them off so many things. The zombies have a easier way of biting them. Traps are easier to hit because of the stairs. Getting air cannon through the stairs, because when you go down the stairs, when you get shot by an air cannon in the stairs, you kind of skate. Where if you get shot by the floor, you kind of fly away, but you kind of get shot like a lot. So it's really good. And then over here, this camera, it kind of sucks. This area kind of sucks because there's 3 pathways. They get to walk over here, and over here. And a good team will usually try split and just mow down whatever's there. And a person with the keys would not open that door, open that little secret pathway, because with this, they're locked. When they have to open that door, and when they break it, they're still in that animation, and they can't move out of it unless if they're like scratched or bit. So if you're a mastermind and you're a zombie, you want to go for the bite. You do not want to scratch them, because if it's Jill, she's going to get scratched and she's going to dodge. And if Tyrone is still running, if they're scratched, Tyrone still has a slim chance of being in that running animation, and he's going to run through no matter what. So be aware of that. So you want to have a gun, and you want to like use an explosive, something to kill them off. This is like a good trap spot to kill them off. So that's that. For camera 13, the other best thing is that you could actually set traps near the exit. You see? And you could also still set them off from a certain range. So if you put it over here, put it a little far away, not too far. If they open it, you could set it off, because this is off. This is moved. So you could do all that.
You cannot hurt them.
Right?
Only stop them.
You could actually put it near the puzzle thing, and then also you could also shoot them. So yeah, you could shoot them from this crack. So I know you're not gonna. I know shooting them is not gonna kill them. Using a rifle or high cal, you could shoot them. It's gonna take a little damage, but you're taking 3 seconds off, and 3 seconds always makes a difference, because they're all gonna be confused, and they're gonna be like, "What the fuck?" They're probably gonna think they're getting shot from camera 2, and most of the time, a lot of good survivors close this door. So when this door is closed, you can't do anything. So you have 13 to be a little of a backbone, something to just keep pressure going. So the whole left side of Abandoned Park is amazing. Creature builds, gun builds, trap builds work phenomenally in this area. But on the right side, you're just gonna have more of a struggle if you put all your keys and bet everything on this side. Because one, when they first come here, it's just right there with them. They're all gonna run to the right side. It's always the thing. But on the left side, they're just gonna be so busy going through this area, right? But you get to fuel up all this area, and then when they get this key, you always want to set up here rather than here, because everything's so open and they could shoot. So put like a creature, and then put like a trap behind them, and then just kind of put the pressure on. It's the only thing you really can confuse, the small little room, because you can do infection well, and you can kind of just pop them off. So we're gonna head to area 2 now, and this is where area 2 is crazy. Area 2.
I'm saving my most interesting
Area 2 is one of the best areas for guns and traps. Creatures, I believe it sucks, because everything's so open. You have Martin, Surplus Valerie, you have Jan to like destroy your cameras. So I'm just gonna say right off the bat, creatures suck in this area. Especially you have debuff Becca and debuff Valerie. To be very, very careful. Especially in area over here. In the Victorian London left. Camera 19. This is the worst spawn for Yorick. Because you could snipe him from this area where Tyrone is. If you move a little bit forward, you push him forward, you can actually snipe Yorick from here because this is where he spawns. You could snipe him. And if you have Berserk Aura, he's gonna aggro. He's just gonna sense the person. The AI is just gonna come towards him. See how Yorick is already going towards that? That's what's gonna happen. So over here you could snipe him, you could rock it, you could magnum it, and if you use Yellow Herb Valerie and they use a magnum and they got the right equipment, they could just one-shot it with the magnum. And the terminal here just sucks so much because Jan could stand right over here and she could use her camera lockdown instant or malware. Lockdown, she'll shoot this camera off and that area is just useless. And a lot of masterminds usually want to move Yorick, like if he gets spawned over here like he was, they'll put him in here and put him in this spot. You have to put him all the way over here not to get sniped. But a lot of the times you could just go near that boat. You could use Martin's flashbang, flash baton, flashbangs, and you could throw grenades. And Valerie could scan them. So they could do anything they can from far away. And the damage reduction does not exist because it just deals regular damage. So that sucks. I think Yorick really sucks in this area, but terminal wise, so godlike. So we're gonna get to that in a bit. For Yorick, you kind of want him here because I know it kind of sucks that he could get sniped, but the thing is that they gotta travel all the way here. Having zombies, it's just more tight. Then you could have traps, so you could trap them and all whatnot, and you can actually use the Veo to block it. So when you have Yorick there, let them, they're gonna snipe it. Just know, they're gonna snipe it, but you could block it, and you could still hit them from the constricting vine. You can hit them all the way over here and over here. So you could still do whatever from over here. Okay? And then you could still apply pressure, put traps, put air burst, stuff like that. So it's a really good place for creatures and guns and traps. So this one corner. So yes. And invulnerability anchor Spencer is really good. And a good note for Spencer, this is the only good room. You could actually put the invulnerability anchor here, but the tethering is gonna break off. And yeah. So you really don't want your terminal here. This terminal just blows. It's good to have them come over here though, because you could put a trap here. So have the lights off. They're not usually gonna see it. And when they're so distracted, you could actually shoot them, whatever, get them to the door, and you could put the Veil in this corner and they cannot pass it. You can actually block them and then you can kill them from that. Oh, it works a lot more than you think if it really falls short. So here's the best thing where things become magical with terminals. You want to have your terminal on this angle. You want it here, camera 16. And then you want your terminal here. And you're going to be like, why? Why you want the terminal here? You're just going to see how amazing. This is going to be the last terminal I'm going to show because it's going to blow your mind. And you want it over here because you have two cameras here. So you could have it 16, 17, 21, or 20. So you could choose either or with whatever playstyle you have. So
interesting data there.
With camera 20, you could put everything here, whatever. With camera 18, you could, matter of fact, you cannot set traps, sadly, right? But you could shoot them. So immobilizing rounds, rifle, high cal, machine gun will all reach, and the damage is actually pretty good. I think it goes up to 30 and then like 100 something with the high cal rifle, so you're gonna do decent damage. So you could do all that, and you could do whatever here. All right, So when that's there, this terminal is okay. So worst terminal's here, and the okay terminal's here because. So the thing about this terminal is that it may seem great that you could like
destroying your hole is part of the test.
Put you have the veil, right? Put a bomb, but the thing is that immobilizing round shots is so you have to be really good, and you could miss a lot. So you really want to have it on 16 if you really want to hear,
even with
because immobilizing them or shooting them is better. And if a lot of them are gonna have shotguns, so it's gonna be hard for them to shoot you there. And Jan's really gonna have to be on point, and the survivors are gonna have to be on both cameras. So 16 is more better because of range. So the thing about camera 17, this is beautiful. So we're gonna have Sir Yorick open the door.
Eyes made to be torn out, and hearts for the same purpose.
If the door is open outwards or downwards, it's still good no matter what. So we're gonna go from weakest cameras to best cameras. So 21 is kind of weak, but the thing is, you could set off traps. You could put out the veil and all that. Guns aren't gonna work.
The relief, the soaring ecstasy.
All right.
Shedding.
Guns aren't gonna work because if it's downwards, you're gonna have a problem. So if you really want to have a gun work, they have to be upwards like that. So you could put zombies. You could put traps near it. You could use air cannon, right? So that's cool. So if they have that door open, best believe you better abuse that angle because they're gonna shoot that camera no matter what. 17's this camera angle is just, they know they're gonna blow it up. They're gonna blow that camera to bits. So what you want to do is have camera 16. With camera 16, you could place traps. Alright? You could also place out the veil here. Alright? You can't shoot, sadly. Can't do anything, but you can place creatures and traps and just blow them up from an angle. And I know I'm saying, I know I said this is the weakest.
Disappointment
and this one's alright. And this one's okay. But like 15, you're like, what? Here's the best thing about 15. 15 is so good because you see what it can do? You can set off bombs. You could place traps. You could place the veil. And you could place creatures. So you could blow it up. And they're not gonna, they can't see 16. They're like, alright, he's gonna be on 16, right? Or he's gonna be on 21. They're not gonna notice, they're not gonna see that 15's being used unless they go all the way. So you have 4 cameras on this freaking terminal.
I have learned almost nothing.
And sadly you can't do anything with 18. So yeah, 18's useless. But that's like a pretty good camera angle if you could tell me. So main waterway on this camera is just gonna blow them up. Like let Martin shockwave me, right? I would still be able to see and put a trap here, no matter what, because it gets placed. You see where I'm placing it? It's where the terminal is. So if you put the camera here, you're just gonna put it forward, blow it up right in front of them. So yeah, this is a very good terminal spot. Very good. So we're gonna have to go to Area 3. And Area 3 is also very good.
This is quite unprecedented. Continue then, but it won't be for much longer.
Alright. I'm gonna be right back, guys. I gotta use the restroom.
I never intended you to get this. It's part of the test.
Alright, I'm back. No, King K's. I am back. I'll take your power. My power's back, alright? Alright, I'm just kidding. Alright. I have a question for Shadowman and TDR. I actually never tested it because I don't really like lockdown trap, but if you use a landmine and a lockdown trap and you set off the landmine, does the lockdown trap just like be useless when it's blown up, or it also affects the survivor and the radius will happen and everything will get locked down? Alright, we're gonna get to it. Alright, thank you, man. I really wish you could set it off and actually use lockdown, so thank you for that. Alright, so this is where things get interesting. Biocores you do not want. It's 27. You don't want the Frankenstein shop. I mean, it's good for creatures. Guns, terrible. You have 28, but damage is not going to be set, and
destroying your hull is part of the test.
Okay. Thank you. So with 28, you can air cannon them, but it's really not that good. So I don't like this one, nor this one. I would take this one in the middle and over here. And the middle one usually people hate, but with traps and all the other angles you could get, it's much better because it's just more momentum. So we're gonna start with the worst biocore, and I think this one's the worst. As a starting as well, I think creature like a net will do very well, but guns, traps, they're gonna get blown up because you're gonna have they're just too good. SWATs will just blow it up all the time. So they're gonna break down the door. Martin will use shockwave, flash everything. Joe will come with the rocket, and when this camera's shot, you really don't have any other way. You could use 24 to put creatures here or some shit like that, but you have the chance of them coming up, that biocore being open. So this one blows like no, but this camera angle is good to help out this biocore. So let's get to it. So 25, you can set zombies over here. So zombies can be placed here, and they can be placed near the door, right? You could also put traps and still set them off. See? So you could still set them off, and you could still put stuff in there. So this little hallway is actually pretty good. And then if you put Yata Veil, they'll be blocked from here, yada yada. Or if you put Yata Veil here, they're gonna have to wait, and they're gonna have to try to bum rush through him, kill it. But if you're putting traps like air burst and like anything to push them off, they're gonna be more distracted with that, and they're not gonna be able to kill Yata Veil because they're just trying to run away. So they have to be careful around this area. And over here, I showcased it, but nobody couldn't hear me. So another good thing is, say if they're in here trying to do the biocore, if you have explosive and you're really that type of person that the veil isn't great for your use, but you just kind of want to place it and just blow it up. What you could do is to hit all survivors, because they're all gonna split up. I don't think any of them are gonna stay close near Yata Veil and get, because they have a chance of getting gooped. So what you want to do is place a trap here, right? Place a trap here. Like, you gotta be really quick about it. I'm just being slow about it. But, right? Like this door. Have like an airburst trap again. Like, blow them off real quick. Or immobilize them. Place at the veil. If you explode, anything in this radius is all blown up. It's all blown up. So, if you could do it right, and if Martin is not in that room, they're fucking screwed. Because the person on the corner, their explosive deals about 600 damage. And if you put an additional, I think if you put military grade explosive, it also increases because it counts as an explosive. So, and that also makes it sound like Yata Veil is more of a trap card. So, if you put if you have clone high explosive in the corner, that high explosive is also gonna stack. So if you do it right, they're gonna take 600, and then whatever extra damage is going to be set from those high explosive, they're going to take about 1,000 damage. So they really need to be careful in this area. This area is, I love it. It's phenomenal. You can do so much. All right. So with camera, this biocore, you could actually do some stuff. You could put 23. You have 23, 24, and 30. And then you also have 29. Just for like a little stuff over here if you have the veil spawn over there. But don't accept don't expect to put anything here. 29 is like if you're in deep shit. Jan destroys 30 and 24, uses instant, and then you have to use 29 as a backbone. But here it goes. So you want to put Yet the Veil kind of over here, all right? Because see, the issue that happens a lot of Alex players, they want to put it over here. But the problem with they put it over here, Constricting Vine would not hit them over here. So you want to put this lever down, and you make sure this one's also down. Or you could also put Yet the Veil right over here to block the cargo and keep that one down so they can't really escape. They're gonna have to stay all the way back, but since they'll be so careful about Yet the Veil and they don't want to, some will kill it, some won't. But you could also, they'll be running back over here, and you could also apply more pressure behind them. So you could blow them off, explode on them, and the traps will go down to the stairs. So be aware of that too if you're a Survivor player. So yeah, this bio course is kind of good because
that is
yes,
not what I expected.
They'll be over here and have the cargo lift, but let's put Yet the Veil again so we can demonstrate how the placement goes. So see how I'm gonna try and
something special for moments just such as these. Enjoy.
You just really can't shoot from here. Like, you just can't. See? And it gets put all the way over there. So you have to like aim it too. So over here is pretty bad.
Disappointment could be a variable in the efficacy of the virus. How do you feel? That's not what I expected.
So yeah, so you really don't want to put Yet the Veil there because it just blocks everything. Alright, and say that bio gets destroyed, you get the one in the cafeteria, or you get the one on that side, right? So if you put them over here and try and block that cargo or something, or they just run away, right? Kind of try and block this path, keep that one locked, and whatever's there, they're trapped. But you could also make sure you lock that door too. You could also hit them from here, and you could also group them. And then with 23, you can place creatures over here, traps, you know, from a certain angle. You could also place it over here on the stairs. And you could also shoot them with certain weapons. 24, you could also put traps near the biocore. So through this wall you can, and it still works.
I will hunt and destroy you.
So, and you can still put on the stairs and whatnot. Goes pretty far. So this camera 24 is pretty good too. And then about this biocore is amazing because you have 24, 30, 29, 28. And why do I say 28? Because if this door's open and they're being stupid and they'll close that door, you could put traps in. So we're gonna showcase it.
The bliss of murder, the relief, the soaring ecstasy of shedding another's blood.
Oh, I'm such an idiot. Oh, there it is. Where it is. So this one's specific, but you could put it right over here. So it'll be right near where they are.
Destroying your hold is part of the test.
So with 24, you can place traps here, and you're going to be right near the biocore as well. With 30, you can place zombies on an angle over here. So I'll be further away from them, but you can still place traps and then activate them. And then with 29, if you put Yet the Veil here, say, whatever, right over here, just to get them away. Or you could put it over here to block it, so they could run away.
You have the honor of being the first to witness the fruition.
So you could do all that, right? Do whatever, right? So they don't go through here. They're gonna have to run away. But the thing is, you could put traps in the safe room. And if they want to keep buying stuff, you could just pin them down, pull creatures, and you have the chance of killing them. And you can control zombies if they're out there.
There's no escape for you now.
So yeah, that's what I like about this spot. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 cameras, and just cameras just to like be careful. So that you can't control zombies. Another thing about this camera, it's okay, but you could also set traps and zombies all the way near the door.
Time will kill you as certainly as I will. What is this?
So you could also put traps here. So if they're lifting the cargo lift, you could also put traps and blow it up. You could also place out the veil. You could place out the veil here. Camera 24, you could also put stuff over here. So if you put like a zombie here, a trap, you could set them off on that angle. You can put traps over here and all that. So that's really it. And perfect timing for overtime because Valerie kept coughing so much. But that's Abandoned Park. Abandoned Park's pretty good.
Was this the virus? Is that how you survived?
Alright. Alright, TDR, this is where your build will be phenomenal. I think you're gonna get a lot out of it. Now that I have my mic on again, you're gonna understand why and more. Where the terminals I put are just gonna be really good. It's like pretty crazy. Area 2 is pretty insane, especially how everything's very close and infection's just so good in this map. So this is where things get a little bit crazy. I don't think Area 1's that amazing for Alex. It's more of like you kind of have to prep up and then you have to pick out survivors who go alone.
My whole life has been a prelude to the knowledge that I gained today.
Oh, I think you're gonna have so much fun with that terminal for the camera 17. 17 is gonna get you so much. All right, so prison area 1 kind of sucks in this beginning area. And if this ever had a door or whatever, I think this map would have been even better. So here's the thing about this. So in area 1, you could place traps through this gate. You put it over here. Same goes with camera 2. If they shoot camera 1 and 3 off, you could place it over here, set it off. 3, if things get really shitty, you could place a trap and you have to nudge it to set it off. That's the beginning area. 4, you already know. You really can't get much because you can't shoot. And creatures, this area is so long. Shooting creatures is just so much easier. And if anything, if they're over on this side, they'll just run out. If they're on this side, they'll run back in here and let the creature in there. Especially if it's a licker, they'll just lock it and just leave. So this part sucks. This area is pretty good, especially for a little snipe. So I think this area for Alex is more of a gotcha, like kind of have to sneak up on them. You really can't have the camera on them or it's just gonna fail. So what you want to do is you want to have a presetted area with infectious zombies. So you're gonna have to like put them behind a door and the door's locked. So have a zombie behind the door and have areas where they can't run away, or like if they hear something they just leave and go back to the team. So with this camera angle, you want to put like an airburst trap or immobilizing round so you could stop them from moving. So have that door locked, right? So here's a good example. So say January comes all the way over here. You're not watching her from the camera. She's gonna be busy looting, getting stuff. But what's gonna happen is you're gonna just wait, probably camera 9, camera 10, looking at this map, and then just snipe right to her on that camera with their immobilizing round. And then when she has that iframe, like, oh shit, lock, shoot her with that, switch to 10, control it, and just deal some damage. And then while she's out, just leave back in, and then she's just gonna have to wait. And if so, if she runs away, take it off, lock the door, and that, what usually happens is when survivors break that door, that zombie's gonna aggro, or even if that infection's it's just gonna infect them. So they really have no other way. Either have a teammate help them out, and sometimes 2 people actually stay behind the door. So the only thing that will prevent this is Martin. But if anything, if you have a good shuffle, you could put immobilizing round, and when they get off, open the door, air cannon them, and they'll go right into the room. So this spot is pretty good. This area sucks ass. It's just they made this spot 100% so they could just sneak out and not go through this area at all. So yeah, this area is very good in general, especially when you put a trap down these stairs, because they usually, when the lights off, they can't see it from an angle. They have to look all the way down, so be careful of that. Camera 6 is pretty good. Make sure your camera's kind of facing downwards, because if you're setting zombies or traps, you have to look down and set it off. So if I'm looking up, whatever, if you look down, you kind of just can still set it. See? But if I'm looking up here and trying to set it, it won't work. So just make sure you're down. Kind of cause a chain reaction and stuff like that. And this is also like the same situation. If a person's here trying to do that, especially if you put like a trap, a zombie, whatever, and then have a zombie here, you'll have a great chance of infecting them. It's gonna be good. And then here, this room, everybody likes this room. Everybody likes putting the keys in here because you can just infect, push them out, stuff like that. So this is pretty much area 1. It's more of like, kind of have to sneak up on them. But if you have a creature base, like a net or something, you're just gonna go all out. So guns are also pretty good, but there's a lot of a lot of sneaky spots with guns. So I usually survivors can hide in that corner. They'll just hide back there. If you're a camera on camera 9, you can't do anything. And then you have to get off and go to camera 10 to do something, but they'll run away to camera. It's just, you have to be really on point if you're a gun person, because you just can't do anything. Same goes with camera 5. Camera 5 is just all this. They could block. They could just hide here, hide behind here, and like you just can't do much because they could still hide behind that angle. You could immobilize them and use a trap, but it sucks. I don't think guns are great on this map, on this area, but in other area 2 and 3 is phenomenal.
The cage has fun. I'm saving my most interesting scenarios for later.
Alright, Tidia. Well, this is where it gets so good. So,
initiating the next test
alright.
phase.
For creature masterminds, solely creatures, camera 16 is amazing. Over here, 23 is also good, and 25 and 18. Right? Creatures. But for guns, this area sucks. This area sucks. This area sucks. You want cameras here, here, and here. Alright? You don't want anything here too either. There's 2 doorways. It's trash. They can hide in here too because there's no camera in this one hall. It's just terrible. So, and also the other thing is that if they destroy that camera, Jen will destroy this camera. And you can't shoot from here either. So, because this is blocking the way in the wall. So, this is where things get very good. Worst terminals here because there's too many ways they leave. If anything gets crazy, they'll just go out here, go back here, or go the other way. There's too many ways to get out.
I'm surprised you lasted this long.
Over here, they have they're right near the safe area. Same goes with this. This just sucks. I hate it. I don't think anybody likes really having terminals here. Spreading infection's good, but no. You're not gonna have fun at all. So 25. It's good, especially if they leave the door open and Janet's like trying to hide or somebody. You could blow them out, go into the other room and keep pressure going, and put an infectious zombie. It's also a good spot for Yorick if you get this spawn over here, because you can actually put him in here and you can put Yacht the Veil in this spot and block it, and they can't run away. So you could set a death trap, do whatever you want at that point, because if you put creatures here and then you put Yacht the Veil here, they're gonna have to go in there trying to run away, but they're just gonna get plowed down if somebody doesn't. If these are all of them are there, they're screwed. The only way they could get away is that if they're in this side or this side and over here and trying to get in there before they get gooped. The only thing that could really kill Yacht is Becca, but other than that, you really need to be very careful when you go through here, because this little tight area just destroys everybody. So having this terminal, I only have this one here because I don't really like any of the others, especially these 3. So it's pretty garbage. So 25 is my favorite, 15 is my favorite, and then 21, 22 is also my favorite over here, and I'm gonna explain why. So this one's the weakest in terms of what I usually have. So with Terminal 15, the best thing about this is that you could place traps here, set it off. You could also place, say, if Martin is right near them, you could also set a trap and it'll hit them. So highly explosive air burst and virus mine will touch them from that radius. So if you don't want Martin touching your mines, you could set it off over here and blow them up. You could also spawn creatures. You could spawn. You could shoot them you could use air cannon and immobilizing round. So they will get hit from it. And then the best thing about it is that Yata Veil could be spawned here and you're just wondering, oh dear, why? Alright, so the reason why it's so good is because you can hit him through this wall. You could goop them. And if they want to run away and that door's locked, you could just be prepared to goop them. And you could kill them too. So killing them. And then if Valerie uses her ult, that's great. Because the thing is that when they use it, you're like, great. But they can't shoot Yata Veil right. If they use a shotgun, the shotgun's not going to work through this railing. They have to get out of here and actually try and kill Yata Veil. And if you put Yata Veil right, you could actually block it and they have to go out there. So, yeah, they got to be careful. And you could exploit Yata Veil and place a trap in there and boom. It's a really good spot. Let me kill Tyrone off so I could stop having them dwindle down time. Oh yes, the glitch that still happens. Alright, this area is so good because one, you could place traps between those little two lunch tables, so that's good because a lot of areas that have like an item and then an item where you really can't place it in between, so you could place it here and then over here as well, right? But if these two cameras get shot, don't worry, you have camera 23. They usually a lot of people have it in here, but you only have 2 cameras to defend it, and you can't use 21 to do anything because you can't place anything or set things off. So if they shoot that off and then you could still apply pressure and you have that door locked, the only thing that could shoot this camera off correctly and efficiently is a Mup, Matilda, Lightning Hawk, and kind of an MQ, but from the further distance it's going to be weaker, and the shotgun. And when they use the shotgun, their shotgun when you get close, their shotgun kind of goes up and the shotgun just doesn't shoot right. And they're usually going to have a shotgun, so that's cool. And then when you're doing pressure, they're going to be off, and those 2 cameras are just going to be recharging.
Destroying your hope is part of the test.
Alright, sorry, I just had to drink some water, my throat's dry. So yeah, the only thing, the downside is that you could play zombies and all that.
No interesting data there.
Thing that's downside is you can't set traps off because of this little barrier. So if you have guns on it, and I think a mobilizing round also goes as far to get there, so it's really good. You could also place Yata Veil if you do it correctly, but it's kind of tricky. Yeah, it's very tricky. I know you could do it, but yeah. You could also place Yat from this corner and block it.
Honor of being the first to witness
down the person, and whoever's doing freaking, if it's Valerie or anything like that, you can air cannon them from them if you want, or if you're trying to be safe, you can air cannon and shoot them out. So yeah, that's really good. So they gotta be really careful. That's pretty much for this area. 28, you can put traps over there, down there, in the corner, and still set it off. This camera, where is it? 26 is just awful. You really can't do anything, so be aware of that. 24, you can put traps near the door and still control creatures too. So that's cool. Set it off. There you go. So you can put it near the door. Not really. It's kind of tricky too. But yeah, you just don't want the terminal here, here, and here. So that's that. It's really gonna help a lot.
There should be a pile of you by now. Continue then, but it won't be for much longer.
Alright, so worst biocore spawn is this one. I fucking hate it. It's garbage. You don't want it at all.
You will not see your death coming.
It's really bad because 38 came and overlooked there. All you have is 29. It sucks. So you want this biocore, and this biocore. You want these three. This one's hard because it's hard to overlap. So let's get to it. 32 for this core. You have 32. You have 31. You have 34. If I'm looking at it right. You have 34. You have 35. 36.
Even with low expectations, I'm disappointed in you. I barely learned anything here.
36 is very tricky. Let's get it right. If it doesn't want to... Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so 36 you can on the stairs. So if they're on the stairs, shooting the core, you can do all that. 36 is also a backbone. I wouldn't really recommend choosing it, but you could put it, you see where January is? You could also place traps here near the biocore, so you could put bombs. You could put it over here. Just not like all the way near the biocore, but airburst, high explosive will help. So that's that. So these are if like they destroy all your cameras and you're just like fuck. 34 is also pretty good because you could also put traps in the biocore.
I have learned almost nothing.
So yeah, over here you can put traps even on the stairs. All the traps. So yeah, this is really good. And then 31, you already know, everybody knows these ones. Put traps, all that. With 33 over here, this biocore is actually really good as well. You place over here 34, 33, 32. Place some creatures over here on the side. Place some traps. It's not close to them, but if you want to put something out quick and they're out on that side, you just want to kind of get them out of the way. So this core is okay as well, but this one's also, these are the best two, and this one's the okay one. So the reason why this one's also really good because you have 34.
As expected, your death was
The 34, 36,
others will be more interesting.
35, because you could actually put it near the biocore. 36, 35, 31. So 31, and then don't think 32 works. No. But you can shoot them from a far away.
I barely learned anything.
No, because it did not affect the zombie. You can place traps on the stairs. That's it. And then 38 also sucks. But if they're over there, you can. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna say 5 because these don't really count. 5.5. 5 because these are half of camera views. Pretty bad, but this one's pretty awful because you have 35. You have 36, but it's so I hate it.
You lasted this long.
I hate it. And then you do have 34, but it's kind of blocked by this view, so you really can't spawn things to this wall. So you have to do it outwards. 31 sucks. Can't do anything. So yeah, you don't want that. You don't want that biocore. So 36, 33, and 32 view. Your best biocores. So that's that. A tip you could do is you can set traps near the safe box if they're distracted with stuff. But that's really it. So that's prison. I hope prison's good for you, TDR, especially with your trap build.
Is that how you survived?
I'm not gonna do Uptown because Uptown's really bad for traps. Can't do anything. Really good for creatures though. Creatures are so good. Uptown's just so difficult because Area 1 is so open, and it's you really want to get things right off the bat. You want to affect them, but like they just have too much time to roam and too much to prep up for like any sense of danger. Area 2 is also really difficult because you have good camera views. You have the one in the outside, you have the one that's in the middle, and then you have the small space rooms for infection. But it gets shut down really quick, and they just know, and there's no extra camera to get them. I will try Busment Park, but I'm not sure if I know too much. I really like this map. I think Busment Park is the best out of the update. Uptown's pretty difficult. It's good for like a vulnerability, Anchor Spencer, and guns and creatures, but traps, you're not gonna have any benefits. You're gonna have to go straight guns or straight creatures because there's no secret angles, no secret cheat sheet stuff. It's really hard, especially you have the veil placement. You have to it's everything's actually really tight in that area. Like even as open as it looks, like everything's open, yet areas that you want to eat survivors is just everything's just so impossible to put because the outer veil could just get outrun, and it's really hard.
How does fear
yeah, it's all the doors. It's all the doors. So I think Alex fails at Uptown the most because you can't get much infection unless if you're a net with those crazy creatures. Daniel could get a lot out of it.
This is my domain.
But once you get Mr. X, they're just gonna run away. So I think Nikolai and Spencer and Annette are the best. But even Nikolai has it. I think I just can't. I think Nikolai struggles a lot too because it's just everyone's just like the map is kind of the easiest to know rather than a Busment part. There's just a lot to it that there's a lot of things to do. Uptown is just too open, and every camera is too open. You can't be sneaky and you can't be efficient because because a lot of the stuff get blown out, especially in area 1. When you open the double doors, that area, they usually like to put a lot of creatures in that hallway, but if you have a person charge it in and keep him distracted and such, you can have Becca or Valerie debuff him. All those zombies are useless. So I think Uptown's my least favorite. Like, I really like playing as a survivor, but yeah, it's difficult as a mastermind. Over here though, it's just like research when it becomes to the beginning. I really like that. So
would be too easy.
Over here you could just use an air cannon, and when they open that door, you could air cannon them and then set a trap in there. So if they're not quick enough to close that door, they're gonna get even blown up more. You could also set like in a creature too, do some door cheesing and get him some infection. So try your best to do that. Sometimes going for a bite will give you kind of make the survivors run away, because that person's bit and all of them will just charge out. They'll just leave and leave that survivor, and they'll help them out, because the time you get off the zombie and try to set something up again, you're not gonna get it. So it's best to like push them out, take them out, set them off, and keep closing the door. And then if you have an infectious zombie, it's pretty good to you know, set off infection in the beginning and dwindle down time. I like this room too, cause they have I know that it's pretty big, but you could do a lot in here because it's not too hard to place stuff. Over here is pretty good because you have 2 cameras.
Here to give you false hope.
If somebody's distracted trying to open the door, you could actually just look both ways. You can still put traps here. Set off a trap, hit it to the other camera, shoot them off, you know, because you can't really shoot them. So set off a trap, airburst, immobilizing, switch off to 11, and then shoot them off. And then if anything, you could actually control the zombie in this room and bite them off and come back in here with the zombie and lock the door, because they'll just be in caution or danger and keep coughing. So this area is pretty good as well. I like pretty much over here is your best. It's a little, they can like circle around you or something, but if you do a good setup, put a trap here, put a zombie there, they can't really do much. You really have to shoot one or the other out. And if they shoot out an air burst, just get off the zombie and shoot them again. Over here, it's okay. The only issue is that camera 1, if you really want to get them over here, you gotta move the camera over here. But then if you forget to position your camera here, it's gonna take a long time to like even get back to it, and they could probably just leave. So, but you have camera 2. You could also set traps and such like that. It's pretty good. I don't mind it, but other than that, you could also set traps here near the door. Right. Be a little sneaky. Over here, so it's funny is that this was the room from camera 13 and amusement park, where the 3-ways, but I like how there's a wall, so you know, you could do a little setup, put a creature here because they usually don't see it, you know. You could do a little stuff in here, put bombs behind the door, then like have them be distracted and go to camera 2, you know, because this is supported by camera 2 and you have 2 supporting camera 3. Same goes with 4. I think it's a good setup. Put a bomb here or shoot them off. It's a really good area.
Your hole is part of the test.
Camera 5 is kind of wonky because you have a zigzag, right? But it's really hard to get them in this area because it's just so long. So you just kind of want to focus around here, you know. It's the same thing about abandoned park. I think I said amusement park this whole time, but about abandoned park, you gotta do the same thing with camera 9. Group them, shoot them off, because you can't shoot them off.
Fear can blind you.
If I get a gun. So yeah, if you angle it, you can shoot them off and still do the same thing, which is really good. So I like that. Over here is also really good because you can still set traps and they won't be able to see it, even on this corner. If you put it like between this little corner, so they can't see. And if you put a crawling zombie or a small zombie, it's a good spot. You could also put traps behind the door even though the desk is there. So you could do a lot in this room as well. Spread infection, keep them out, keep putting more bombs behind them and affect them. I also like over here because camera 9, it's really good because when you open the door you still can't see the camera right. Kind of have to angle your camera view. Only Jan can really get that off quickly, but I don't think she will really waste her personal skill on one camera where 2 other cameras could harass her. So they'll try to down these 2 first. And the thing about this bot's really good is that you could honestly prep. So you put a zombie in there, put an shoot them out back in the room, lock the door, put a trap. So this room could be really good. And then when they're stuck in there, and if there's still a zombie, put more. So you could do really well. So traps do work pretty well in this spot. Yeah, I don't think you could do anything magical with the stairs here either. It's the same type of thing about abandoned part. So can't do anything.
Disappointment could be a
so yeah,
variable in
over
the
here is really good. Over here and this view is good. Just on this left side from 5, it's just difficult. If you have creatures like a net, it's really good because they really have to go one way or the other. They just run forward or run back to retreat. So guns too I think have a major issue because if you use a mobilizing round,
weapon deployed.
You're not gonna hit them because the goop has a kind of a weird glob hitbox. So like it's circular, and where the air cannon is like a small, tiny little circle. And how grenade launcher and air cannon can only hit, I don't even think you could shoot them off the door because that little wall right here kind of blocks them. So be aware of that too. So yeah. So that's area 1. I think it's pretty decent. I think it's best for this area is so good for creatures. This map is just great for creatures in general. Same goes with Uptown. Guns in this map also are really well because you have just so many other angles you can still shoot them on. And then like Time Pirate Nikolai is really good, especially in area 1 because they really have to be quick. They have to walk a lot or run to other areas, especially you have the key set up like this. They have to go here and they have to go here and here. So if a whole SWAT runs one way, they still gotta run all the way back down here and then all the way back. And if that team doesn't split up, they're gonna waste a lot of time. So we're gonna go to area 2. I really like area 2. I wish it was just like abandoned part, but it kinda is. So it's gonna be nice. So
Initiating
the best CRX spawn you want to have is here, no matter what. Any of this area. Here it's okay. I preset infectious zombies though because kind of sometimes you run in the second area with no bioenergy. You just really can't pump up the infection. So the best terminal you want is these 3. Because this camera can't do anything to protect 19. Camera 20, pretty sure, yeah, you can't do anything. This is only for the exit. 19 can defend yourself. I think can defend the exit. So if they're doing anything crazy, they shoot you trapped there. You could just airburst them, such like that. But over here, the terminal you really don't want to have. Over here is pretty good as well. The only issue is that there's 2 and you don't have don't think you have 19 to defend, but you should be able to. It just doesn't reach too far near the terminal. So it reaches over here. And you have to be on a weird camera angle to set it off. Look, see? I got stuck in between like the rails. So yeah, it's okay. So yeah, 14, 15. Guns, creatures. This area is really good and open, but like not too open where they're kind of still tight. Because if the zombies over here, zombies over there, and it still dies, the infection will still get them because they just can't run away from it completely. That's good. Camera 16 and 17 is really good. You could also have the terminal here. I think it has a spawn here. 18 you don't want it because it's only good if you have a lot of creatures in here and a vulnerability anchor Spencer, but nevertheless you're really not going to get much if you're using guns because the only way you could get them is this door's open, but a lot of them close it like I said, especially if it's a gun person. So with camera 17 you can put traps here, yada yada, but with this one you can actually put traps over the pillar and still set it off. Alright? And you could also air cannon and immobilize and shoot them. So these are the best ones you want to have. Pretty sure you can put traps over here, but you have to nudge it. So, but you kind of want to have everything in your hand for power. Camera 21's not that great because it's just you only have one camera and you can't be crazy about it. So over here is really good. So yeah, you have two cameras. If they want to run away from you at the veil, I place it. Even though I preset it in airburst trap, I just want to have them distracted and get blown away. So if they're really trying to run away, they got to be careful. I'm not sure if you can still put stuff from camera 15 all the way over there. Yeah, so that's that. I think Busment Park is pretty good for terminals. You just have just two cameras really to defend your terminals. You don't have like an additional one or a super sneaky one. You could try and put your luck into camera 19, but you're really not gonna get much out of 19 to defend 14, 15. So they have to, if they're a good team, they will hurt you hard. For 16 and 17, 18 could still benefit if the door is open. You could put like an airburst, stuff like that. But nevertheless, it's still gonna affect you either way. So be careful.
This is quite unprecedented. Heart rate and blood pressure are elevated, but no significant adrenaline spike yet.
So this has the same type of thing about the top right biocore and abandoned park. You could also set traps in separate corners, and if you have explosive you could set them all off and hit them all. This area is really good. It's also small. I really like Busment Park a lot because a lot of them are tight. Creatures work very well in this map. I think you're gonna gain so much benefits if you use traps and creatures. So over here you could place traps, yada yada. You could also place traps over here too, so they don't shoot your camera right away. But other than that, it's just a good way of not having this camera shot, because they're gonna have to run in, and most players will try to run in and shoot this camera, and you just switch back to this one and then shoot. So in the middle area you could use camera 31 to place traps. You could also place traps over here from the right, a little over here, so you won't be able to do much. Where is it? So yeah, you can place traps over here. So if they shoot your camera over there, you can place traps if they're trying to run away. Best if you use like of airbursts and put them back on the cargo lift and lift it up and place out the veil, which will probably guarantee you a kill without a doubt. So if they're not careful about it, so put the airburst, whatever, swap the 24 and place your baby here, and then it'll do great. Get a kill. What else?
Even with low expectations,
With 31,
I'm disappointed in you. I barely learned anything here.
so yeah, with 24, you can't overlook this side, but overlook over here, and I believe you could place Yata Veil here.
Disappointment could be a variable in the efficacy of the virus. How do you feel?
It's yes. You could place Yata Veil here.
Witness our latest bioweapon.
So yeah, place that baby over there. You could also place traps here. It'll be right near the door as well, so you're really gonna get them.
You will not see your death coming.
Air cannon will work. So you could do a lot. You're probably not gonna be getting a lot from shooting because they could just hide. But yes, it's this camera angle. Cannot place traps here because of the stupid statue. Yeah, 24 is okay. 24 is pretty good. I don't really like 25 as much because, like, yes, you could do traps over here. Actually, take that back. So yeah, see, you can't even place traps here. Where in this angle from 24, you could place traps, which makes no sense because I would assume it wouldn't work because of all the walls, but for 25 you just can't when you have an open field view. You could lock the door, but you can't place traps at all, which makes no sense. Yeah, so just guns, but it still wouldn't be working right because they could just hide. So yeah, 25 kind of sucks. You just get more of the field views on the right and left, but you could just use 24 to gain more from everything. Then for 27, you really can't do anything here. Just in here, but you have support from 26, so if they want to barge in or something, you can push them out, go back in and lock the door. So stuff like that. Can't put things like it is like another area, so this area is okay. I think the worst biocore, honestly, is probably this one. Nah. This one's probably the worst because it's one camera, but you could do good infection rate, but you just don't have a second camera to support, and they just will have more ammunition by destroying this camera because they'll shoot these two, and then you have no other way of defending, getting them back from out here. So this one's pretty useless. You just want 1, 2, 3 because you have other cameras to overlook each area and give you the benefit of everything. That's Busment Park. Over here you could set up as well. You could set Yata Veil here to block the door, honestly. So that's really good. And they're gonna have to wait or kill it, and you can just lock the door. And if they want to break that door, you could goop them. Here, I do not believe you can. You could also place it here. Block the door, but it's also good for traps and infection. So if they really want to, if they're in a hurry, they're gonna have to be careful. And then camera 40 and 39, you can also place traps and all that in an angle, but I think this one's the weakest for exits. It's good for creatures, but when you have guns, it just falls apart because they'll just destroy it. So creatures are just the best on this map, and traps. Guns in area 3 could kind of get hit hard, But nevertheless, that's Busment Park. And that's pretty much it of this guide. I hope all of you enjoyed and those who stayed. I'm very sorry about the beginning, about having no mic, but those who actually stayed through the whole time, I hope you've gained a lot of knowledge and a lot of cheesy strats you can do, especially in research facility where a lot of masterminds struggle. And I do believe that research facility is difficult to play, especially when you're using guns, because guns just don't reach and you only have one camera to focus on them. Rather, if you have creatures and traps, you have multiple cameras to defend your biocores, and you could do much more destruction than guns. So traps and creatures help, but guns don't. Downtown is just another map. It's okay. Downtown is just a map that everyone knows. Even beginners that start the game kind of realize it's linear, and like all you really need to do is run forward. Downtown probably should be deleted, but if they fix
the virus? Is that how you survived?
If they fix certain spots from it being sniped, Downtown Area 3 could be beneficial to masterminds and actually help them, because the middle biocore can get sniped hard, and they could be safe from the camera view. The one near the exit has a lot of cameras, but you just can't do anything about it. And if you have that and you're spawning creatures, you're best believing that they're all gonna get shot from there. So yeah, that's pretty much my guide. I will be posting it, and I could let everybody know that I have a video, but most of the time when I speak in streams, nobody listens to me, and they don't really like my hints. I'm not really rude about it. I'm nice. It's just when I speak, nobody looks at my message and they don't listen. Other than that, I'm pretty chill about it. But when somebody does listen, I'm actually happy because I get to tell them and it really helps them out. Other than that, I really hope for those trap people, trap Alexes, they get to do much more damage rather than having like one camera or stuff like that, and they can actually use trap and creatures efficiently, because a lot of people, when people used to first play Alex, they'll just not use traps because they just don't know what to do. But traps are very efficient and very powerful in the right hands, because if you have traps and creatures, they don't know what to do. They'll focus on the creature and then you can set off the bomb. You know, they can get comboed really hard. Yeah, I will send a whisper to you, TDR. I'm probably gonna have to trim the video and everything. From I actually had the mic. But yeah, I'll post it up, and hopefully you could just share this video or share this channel's video to people and help them a lot. This is gonna help, especially Abandoned Park, because a lot of people struggle in Abandoned Park and Area 3 when it comes to the middle biocore and the other biocore, because they have one camera view, but you actually have a lot of ways to distract them and keep the damage going. And a lot of people think a lot of the rooms, like the cafeteria, the far left and the bottom left, is good because it's more tight knit, but it's actually very bad because if they shoot your camera off, you really can't keep applying. You can't put pressure, you can't put creatures. Just sucks. Anything with camera support, if you know this camera helps that camera in that area, and then you could just kind of keep them bouncing, it just works. But prison's also really good. I think Alex's weak map is Uptown, and it's surprising enough because you have Downtown, but the thing about Downtown is that if you have very infectious Alex, the first door they have to get through, they could still get infected through the second door, then the third, the conference room, they could get really infected in those areas, even in the small bathroom. And then like in Area 2, you have the small conference room, the little break room. It's just everything's a little tight knit. Infection's really good. And you can actually, the thing about Alex, in my opinion, is Alex is really not about hordes. She's really about giving you nothing. You could have zombies really weak, and the best thing about that is that when you just put infection and they kill your zombie, they're only getting 5. But when you swipe them, take a bite, and that zombie dies, especially that if it's like just a regular creature, zombie creature, they just get 5, but they lose time, and then they use their resources for like blue herbs. It's great to have them like strong and keep them going, but if you put too much creatures, they're just gonna get too much out of it, and then you really become useless, because if you put straight creatures, infection is gonna be crazy, but it's just like you don't have anything else to distract them. They're just gonna be far away, they're gonna shoot the creatures down. If you don't have traps or a gun, there's just no way to apply infection well, because everything's just so weak. Alex's creatures are just so weak, even with resilient skin. Daniel, Spencer, and Annette benefit more from resilient skin. Yeah, Uptown, I think traps for Uptown work very well, but it's just when guns come into hand, it's very difficult. And then like traps in area 1 are hard in my humble opinion, because it's just like it's just so open. You really have to do the damage in the rooms where you have to wait, and I hate that. You kind of want to just keep pressuring and making them move. But yeah, prison's amazing, especially with those terminals. You have the one with 3 cameras. You have the one where you could still goop them, air cannon. Put Yacht the Veil out of that room and not get freaking schwacked in that room, and then kill that person. And then if they want to leave, they can't get near the safe room. They have to leave to the other way, and you could goop them, kill them. The Yorick placement, where you can put it in the area where the camera 25. That's also really good, because you can put Yorick in there, put creatures, put Yacht the Veil, and then when they're like, oh, let me kill this are probably gonna get eaten, or they're gonna get hit by a trap. Can kind of do a lot. So also, I really like Research Facility. I used to hate it a lot because couldn't do anything, but the more I discover, the more benefits I get from traps and creatures. What else? Casino. Oh yeah, Casino is like the best map for anything. Guns, creatures, traps. It's so good, especially area 1. It's like you don't have. It's not big, too small. It's just right, but you could still hit them from every corner, from every camera. You just have every kind of. You have a great field of view. And then area 2, you just, oh my god, area 2 is just just destructive. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it at this note. I hope everyone enjoyed, especially TDR and Shadow Man. Hopefully Protons or Alucard is still watching. I don't know if they are, but I'll upload this and then I'll kind of show it off.